All right, Shalom family. How's everybody doing? Got a little corner to come and say hello to everybody. And that's what we shall do. Hopefully everything's well with you. We had to move over from where we were since they shut everything down on the live session, at least for the moment. They were successful in doing that, but we still come before you today, ready to get into this word. Hopefully y'all are ready for a word. Praise Yah. Thankful and grateful to have you guys with us. Hola, mi nombre es Kofi. ¿Cómo está? Bonjour, je m'appelle Kofi. Ça va? Ni hao, namaste, osaya, anakitawaya, Ohio, I see you, Manut, Aqua Abba, Etesan, Mabarigani, Jambo, Mimi Kofi Nina Fraku Katana Nuewe, Shalom, Raishan Shalom, Shalai Shai Shalom, Kwame Yashrel, Tedah Yashrel, Barak Allah Sham Yachava. And Kofi, servants of Christ, Mashalom Chi. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voices and speaking the unspoken. Bouncing back over here to the original channel since they're messing with us on Kofi_43. But thank y'all for coming on over with us. Try to get Facebook up and running in the podcast so that we can jump right in. It is Sunday, according to the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar. For us, this is actually now we're getting into our third day of the week. If you're going by the Israelite calendar, second day into the third day, and we're excited to be before you again. And we're continuing this series. The system is sus. We once again give all praise and honor to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. And we're thankful and grateful for those that support what she does, for the diaspora, and also for those of us that are part of SOC. So thank you for being with us again. And of course, for her business, right? Her business, it is her business. So if you do business with her, please support her business, right? We do donation only with SOC. With her, she has a business, so we ask that you keep that in mind. Alrighty. But yeah, so we're thankful. We're grateful once again for the opportunity to come before you guys and have some conversation. And we've been talking about this series, The System is Sus. And thank you guys who found us over here from the other channel that they are taking down right now. This system is sus. And to the moderators, Minister, staff, SOC, Lottie Down, everybody, we appreciate you. Moderators, y'all already know what my heart was pretty much anyways at this point because of everybody trying to play with it. It is what it is. Y'all do what y'all do. I bow down, and I have nothing to say other than thank you. Obviously, I trust you guys to be an extension of what we're doing at SOC. And as long as you guys continue to do that, hey, protect the brand. Protect the assembly, protect the family, do what y'all got to do. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all and I honor you guys. Alrighty. So I think we got everybody from all these platforms, all these positions. I think I got everything set up the way I could. Got a nice little corner in the area I'm in. So we praise y'all for it. All right. So how's everybody doing? Shalom. Again, everybody, how you doing? Everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. We have the podcast on in a little bit. Let's say shalom to everybody. Peace, everybody. How you doing? How you doing, Sister Denise, Stephen, Niece, Sister Dawn, Joseph. How you doing? You said, am I on TikTok? We're on TikTok on Kofi_40. So without the number behind it, not number 2, not number 3, but just Kofi, KOFI_OFORI. We're going back there since they basically took us down off of the channel yesterday because they said that we were. Actually, they didn't even really say what we were doing. I got to look at the screenshot again. They didn't like the fact that I was telling people about making sure that we take care of, not only getting our own land, but start going in and, making sure that where we live, people can live there for a fair pricing. Right. But thank y'all for being on. Hey, babe. Once again, my wife is on the Honorable Maya. Check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. How you doing, babe? Love you so much. Thanks for being on. How you doing, Big Brother Thomas? And if I miss your name, charge it to my head, not to my heart. I appreciate you. We're going to have 4 platforms running at the same time. So if I miss you, it's not intentional. It's all love. Thank y'all for being on. Right. How you doing? Is it Amon Ben? How you doing? Tarvo? How you doing, Miss Pierce? Brother Jaron, Sister Nadine, Sister Monica, Sage, how you doing? Excellent questions, by the way, last night. I like it when people get questions that push me, right? Yeah, they do be hating. How you doing, Minister Joseph? And thank you for checking up on things and being somebody who's astute and looking over the part of diaspora that you're in. I really appreciate you. How you doing, Marcus? Thanks for being part of the community. How you doing, Black Steel? How you doing, Sister Deborah? Sister Ron? Oh, no. Sister Sylvia, right? And the big Sister Ron doing here. How you doing, Sister Irina? And if I miss your name, once again, church, to my head, not to my heart, we appreciate everybody on here so very, very much. And we thank you for being on here. Thanks for finding us over here. If you're on TikTok, since we're not normally on this channel, at least not live as much as we are on the other ones, even though we need to correct that at some point. How you doing, Minister Shante? So to everybody watching on all the platforms, we appreciate you so very much. We're going to go ahead and get this going. We're going to go ahead and get this in. Thank y'all so much for being on. Appreciate you. And so today we're going back into the series. This system is sus. Sus is in its suspect. Sus is, yes, it's even, you could say, perverted in a sense, because yes, if we're saying it is perverted, we're not saying even just sexually, even though there's a lot of sexual, wild, foolish, disgusting, vile things that happen on many different levels in society. And the society is heavily based off of sex. If we just want to keep it plain, if we want to keep it 100, this society is really heavily based off of sex, right? Extremely such, extremely so. But if we just want to make it plain today, we're talking specifically about, this system is sus, right? This system is sus, and when we talk about the system is sus, we're speaking specifically about it's suspect. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't hold water. It's got cognitive dissonance. It's double-minded. Whichever kind of adjective leans the same way. That's what we're speaking of apologetically, right? How you doing, Sir Stephen? How you doing, Joseph? So when we talk about the system is sus, right? Today we want to talk specifically about character. Praise Yah. Character. How you doing, Sister Valerie? Character. And how you doing, Sister Dawn, if you didn't say so already? I think I saw you on another platform, but just in case, I think I saw you, but how you doing, right? The system is sus, and today we want to talk about character. Character. See, when you come from a system that's sus, you come from a system that cannot have character, right? We act, even as a diaspora, as a community, those of you who still think of yourself as being Americans or whatever, depending on what definition of an American you're looking for, you're dealing with a system that is sus. It's suspect. It doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense either, or at least not in the way that we would think of it. We were talking about this last night in Black's Law Dictionary with the class people who do a Black's Law Dictionary with us, and we were trying to show how common law works. And common law is not something that's common to you. So common law is very interesting context for you as a diaspora. How you doing, Gregory? It's very hard to deal with because we're trying to do stuff and deal with stuff that's not common to us. That's not common to the word of Yah. That's not common to decent humanity. But we're supposed to live by this legalese thing that they want us to attempt to make law, right? They want us to be romantic. You know, you're dealing with stuff. How you doing, Sister Shima? How you doing, Sister Joy? Right? You're dealing with a lot of stuff that has to do with things that are not common to you, but somebody's trying to tell you this is law. They're giving you uncommon commentary. They're giving you unlawful commentary, and you're living by unlawful commentary. You believe the unlawful commentary. You believe the foolishness that they've taught, right? We believe that we're an actual person when many people live as artificial persons, right? We think that people are just simply many persons that come together, but a people is a nation. But we believe these things to be true. We don't believe in looking up definitions for ourselves. We believe in sending our children to school, having them learn a definition from a teacher who has only defined their lives through the prism of something that enslaves others. And now we believe that that child should be tested, right, to be tried by it. But see, there's something that's missing in all this stuff we're talking about. See, because if I'm going to be tested, the first thing that I must realize and recognize that should be tested, that shall be tested, that will be tested, is my character. Right? First thing that must be tested is my character. What is my character? What is character? What is character? If I have no character, I cannot even read a letter because letters are filled with characters. See, the letter A is the character A. Every letter, every time you put a letter in an envelope, when you take the letter out of the envelope, you are reading characters. And if I cannot recognize the characters, that right, or if I don't comprehend what the characters mean, if I don't comprehend words, right, because I don't comprehend characters, then it's hard for me to define or even redefine or even see if the letter itself is fine. How you doing, Sister Beverly? Right? I've got to have character. I've got to see a character. Even when you go and see movies, the writers of movies, the people who pen these great novels that you love to read, they have something called character arcs. What happened to the character on their journey? They were this and they were that. They might have changed at the end, but at the same time, I want to see you're into very Greco-romantic stuff. You're into these plays. You're into people who are actors. You're into people who are thespians, who give a theology, thespian, people who are giving you a belief system, and you love to see their character change. But see, the problem is you've had so many character changes that it's hard to know who you are. Right? It's hard to figure out who you are if you keep changing the character. You were African American, and people are arguing, yeah, I'm an African American. You weren't an African American till about 1980, till around there. But before that, you were what? You were Negro. And before that, you was just a boy. And before that, maybe you was black. And before that, you weren't even considered to be a person, let alone a people. You were property. And before that, you actually had tribes, but you lost that language. Right? If I keep changing your character, how do you know who you are? Character is everything. This is the reason why a lot of people have a problem with social media and stuff, because people put stuff on social media and they talk about this, they talk about that, talk about this, they talk about that, but your character isn't right, because the same thing, TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, that you'll block people on, and even the podcast, right? You'll block people and recognize people and rip stuff down, but you'll say that somebody who has character should have their stuff taken down. Meanwhile, people who are out here tearing children's minds up with their approach are still allowed to be on. And thank you, moderators. Appreciate y'all. I'm like I said, I bow down. I bow down to the moderators. I tried to go back and be nice, right? And I'm not saying I won't be nice. I'm not going to change my perspective, but the moderators, they protect for a reason. So if you're coming on here, please be somebody who's willing to actually treat people like human beings. Feel free to question. Feel free to even tell me I'm outright wrong. But please feel free to treat people like human beings. If not, hey, the moderators will get you before I even see you. That's just, it is what it is, right? And thank you to the moderators. I appreciate y'all. I bow down. It is what it is, right? 2 times in a month, basically, people have lied and TikTok has lied, and they've always lied when we get to the point to where we're saying stuff that frees our people. So, hey, right? And when I say our people, I'm talking about our nation and those that are grafted in too. So if you have the belief system and you're willing to go ahead and make sure that you treat others as human beings and make sure that all of us can live in a righteous manner, hey, let's work together, okay? But thank you, moderators. I appreciate you. I appreciate your heart. I'm just letting you know. I appreciate you. I bow down, all right? There's too much of it going on with me trying to make sure y'all are there for a reason. And I thank you so much for what you do and how you do those things, right? Amen. Yeah, it is a great day. Hey, how you doing, Sister Sonia? Right? But yeah, see, character doesn't change. Character, therefore, is an eternal principle. If something cannot change, then it's eternal principle. See, I didn't say character cannot grow, by the way. How you doing, Brother Jermaine? Grand rising to you. I did not say character cannot grow. I did not say you shouldn't grow. I didn't say you should become better. Y'all caught that, right? I didn't say you shouldn't grow out here. That's not what we saying out here, right? I didn't say don't grow. I said character shouldn't change. Do you not realize there's something about you that's not supposed to ever change? And when people keep trying to change your character, you got to start asking yourself, who are you really in my life? Oh, people don't want to go there. See, there are certain things about you that are character. Watch this. Many people who watch us and are part of SOC and have listened to these teachings, you already know a little bit of what I'm about to say, right? You already know a little bit of what I'm about to say, right? But let me go ahead and say it in a slightly different manner. You ready? Or let me add a little more to it. Before one gets married in our culture, you should already be established as a husband or a wife, right? We don't we don't date a long time and then hope that you'll become a wife when we walk down the aisle and you'll start being a wife then. Or we don't date for a long time and hope that once you walk down the aisle, you'll start becoming a husband. That's not our culture, right? It is not our culture, right? That being said though, we know that before a husband was given a wife, he has to have a work. A man who's not in his work, a man without a vision, a man without a mission. I didn't say a job, because a lot of sisters out here looking for jobs, a lot of sisters out here looking for credit scores, a lot of people out here looking for people that can pay your mortgage or pay you guys mortgage collectively or whatever. A lot of men are out here looking for women that can go ahead and make sure that they trophy wise and this, and you only think about her body, and then once her body begins to deteriorate, you don't realize that body deteriorated because she was a sacrifice. No, no, no. We're talking about a different principle. Before you right, a husband finds a wife, before right, a wife should, when she's found, or when a wife runs into her husband, she should find a husband who is already qualified as a husband, and he is already in his work, right? But before work, there was an environment. Before Eve exists on the scene, right? Before Eve exists on the scene, if that's the culture that we're talking about right now, the prison we're talking about, before Chavavach or Chavach, or who we call Eve, it comes on the scene. Before that happens, guess who was guess who was there? Adam was. And before Adam existed, guess what? I'm sorry, Adam was created in a place called Eden. But was that Adam's final destination before? Well, was that Adam's destination before he got kicked out? Was Adam kicked out of Eden? This is a trick question. I want to show you something about character and environment and how certain things shouldn't change. And when you start to change things, was Adam kicked out of Eden? Trick question. Admittedly so. Trick question. Was Adam kicked out of Eden? Right. He was not kicked. Well, yes, he was not kicked out of Eden. He was kicked out of, yes, exactly. He was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. So when Adam was created, he was created, and then it says the Most High made an environment specifically not for him, because he was created in Eden, but he needed to make an environment for his wife. So he created a garden. I go to prepare a place for thee. In my Father's house, there are many mansions, add-ons to what I've already made. The Garden of Eden is an add-on, and Adam is placed in there and has to dress it and keep it and make sure it's ready for Eve, his wife. He has to make sure the character of the Most High is in place, so that when he finally names the animals, and that last piece of him authorizing things and dressing things and keeping things the way the Most High would, he says, now you can see the need of a wife. It's not great for you to be alone, the word alone being all in one, right? Now, before that, though, praise God, before that goes down, right? The environment was made and all that. We see something that's amazing as well. Before Adam can be created, before Adam has the soul attached to spirit and the flesh together, when he's breathed into, before all those things happen, something interesting takes place, something outstanding, something incredible, something happens that's so powerful, something happens that we miss all the time, and we usually go straight to Genesis 1 verse 28, be fruitful and multiply and replenish and subdue. Before that, though, Elohim talks about the man that's made in the generation before he even gets to Adam, who was made in the generations. And he says, as being Elohim, right? The first three characters of Elohim, Aleph, Lamed, Che, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? Before he gets there, first things first, he says, let us make man, and you in your Bible it will say inside or in our image and after our after our likeness, right? But it really would say more so, if I would give you a better translation. Certain things don't necessarily translate, but to give you a better translation, it would actually say something like, let us make man. The word man there actually refers to spirit. So let us make this spirit called man, and let him be made inside of our image. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the word image is also equal to the word character. Before we create man, we must create a character. Mm-hmm. If I have young people on today, before we create the skin on those games you be playing, Roblox and Fortnite and whatever the new versions are. I know Fortnite's supposed to be old now. Everything gets old after a few years, right? But those games that you play like that, those PvP games or 1v1 games, or even the games that you're playing where it's supposed to be, you're out there, you're first person and all that stuff, first person shooting games and stuff like that. Before they create what y'all know, young people, as the skin, or gamers, but you know what I'm talking about, the skin. In other words, before they create what the character looks like on the outside, they have to first create what the character is going to do on the inside. Somebody actually has to develop something that looks like bones. Right? They have to develop the skeletal structure. They have to develop the muscular structure. They have to have coding in it already says if you pick up a gun, this is what you're going to do. They have to have coding in it that says if you press this weapon, this is what happens. This is how you strafe. This is what happened. Will you be slower when you bend down? Like back in the day, they had a little mess up. This is way, way back in the day. But for those who are Nintendo 64 people, back in the day when we used to play GoldenEye all day, every day. Right? That's all. Like when GoldenEye came out, I don't know if anybody went outside for like a good 17 months. You know what I'm saying? Like GoldenEye was like that, right? And everybody loved them some GoldenEye, right? And there was a little cheat, right? If you knew better, if you knew how to do it, if you strafed, if you press the C buttons and press like C left, C right, whatever, if you strafe, which basically means you run into the side. So you're not running straight, you're not running backwards, you're not kneel down, you just running to the side. If you strafe, right, you would actually end up going faster. So you see a lot of people running sideways, right? The coding was jacked up. Yeah, GoldenEye was fire for a lot of people. A lot of people, when I say GoldenEye, that's childhood right there. We love us some GoldenEye, right? Like that. That's as soon as I hit that, that's a nostalgic moment. When I said GoldenEye, my fingers started twitching. Right? That's how much power it had, right? But the reason I'm saying that is because, see, I want you to comprehend that when you had these glitches, when you had these things happen, when these characters and games mess up, when your characters mess up in life, is because a lot of people, they develop the outside, they develop the shell, they develop the mask they put on, they develop how to make sure that they endure what other people have forced them to have to go through. They develop how to be a good American, even though they don't even know what the definition of American is and what kind of American they are and what kind of U.S. citizenship you have and what kind of this and that. But you learn to develop the character or the outside appearance, but you've never dealt with the character. How you doing, MIT tomorrow? How you doing, Sister Beverly? Yeah, fingers. I'm just being honest. I started talking about GoldenEye. I had memories. That thing was a huge part of my childhood. Right, right, right. Didn't matter what color you was. Everybody loved GoldenEye. Like if you go back and try, I don't know if anybody's ever done this. Those who used to play GoldenEye, try to go back and get you an N64, Nintendo 64 at some point, or try to look at somebody else's. I promise you, like that thing looks terrible. It'll mess you up. It'll give you a headache. You like, how was we playing this? This thing is crazy looking. But back in the day, that thing was everything. But see, we see it must not have had. We can see even the outside of appearance of it. All of the outside of appearance of it may be one way. Guess what? The character of it is what you cared about. You were willing to look past its insecurities. You were willing to see what I'm saying? Catch it now. You were willing to look past its demeaning ways. You were willing to look past the fact that it was violent. You were willing to look past the fact that it wasn't really doing for your body what it needed to when your body needed to go outside. You were willing to look at all those things. You didn't care about all those things. Why? Because that game was something that brought joy to your life. You were willing to look for the joyful parts out of the game rather than be focused on the negative things that came with the game. Now, if you try to play the same game, you're like, what in the world is this? It's like when your children go back, like you have a nostalgia thing, right? Your children look at games that you played. Like I never even could afford the Sega Genesis, or I couldn't get the Sega Genesis, right? But I played the Sega Genesis. My upstairs neighbor, I was on the second floor, he was on the third floor. I used to go up there and we play Sega Genesis, right? And, they could do certain things on there that look smoother than Nintendo. So Mario was life, right? Even when I got the Super Nintendo, like Mario and Yoshi was life. Throw Luigi in there. Ain't nobody really care about Luigi like that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Few people be out there rocking Luigi, right? But Mario was life. But you know what was crazy? Right? Yoshi was life, right? But you go upstairs and you saw Sonic. You was like, what is this? right? But go back and try to play Sonic today. You love Sonic. So you don't even see Sonic the way your children do. Your children play Sonic and they be on the phone. They're like, your children get the phone out. You know, you used to like Sonic, get the controllers. It's going to be a big deal. Your children just go, oh, like, okay, like, what's the point of this? Like, they just kind of look, right? But see, you're not even thinking, because you're not thinking on a level. You have an intimacy with the game, and you look for the character. And you said, I didn't allow something. Yeah, you look for the character. You're not looking for what they're looking for. You're looking for character. You're looking for character. Oh, I'm sorry, Brother Henry. Yeah, somebody was talking about, yeah. So for us, we do basically when the sun rises, or if you want to, or no, when the sun sets is actually the beginning of the day in Israelite culture, Hebrew culture, biblical times. He said your child has played the controller via Steam on PC and several other classics. Yeah, right. But you have a thought process that goes to character. Hey, how you doing, Sister Latoya? You have a thought process that goes to character, and character doesn't change. So watch this. You like playing Sonic, and you play Sonic in all the iterations, but you still have love for every single version of Sonic. You like playing, some of y'all play Mortal Kombat. You like playing Mortal Kombat. You got love for every iteration of the game. You like playing Street Fighter. You like every single iteration of the game, right? We went to an arcade recently, and we played Japanese versions of Street Fighter that I had never played before, right? And even though I'd never played it, I knew certain things that the characters did, because there ain't but so many moves. Once you know certain things or whatever, you already know how to do certain moves. So once you realize, okay, he acts like Ryu and Ken, okay, cool, I can do the same thing, right? He acts like Dalzim, I can do the same thing. He acts like E Honda, I can do the same thing, right? The character, one person's character can even show me how another's character is roles, even if they don't have the same character, it's similar, right? Or Tekken or whatever these games. I can't go down memory lane for every single game, right? But y'all get what I'm saying, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? The character. If you learn how to play what's the one I'm looking for? What was the one that really started the granddaddy of first person shooting games that everybody likes? I can't remember. But if you learn the character of one game, you're gonna learn them for all. Right? And I'm trying to show you this. Why? Because character is something that's missing. Character is something that's missing. Before man was created, Yah said, let us make man. That means spirit there. When it says that in Barashat Aleph At Kaf Aleph At Kaf Vav, or Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. It says, let us make man, let us make spirit, and the spirit needs to be made inside of our image, inside of our character. Doom and stuff as well, yeah. Oh yeah, Doom actually probably the old. I was talking about the old school one where everybody's shooting against each other in the game, but Doom actually way back in the day, right? That was not, matter of fact, Doom was the 90s, right? Because we was getting in trouble for playing Doom in class. Right? Or if you we had one teacher, if you did your homework and stuff, he'd let you play Doom. So Mr. Cheatham, I remember his name, Mr. Cheatham, 5th grade, right? He let you do whatever. He kind of wasn't, he was like anyways. Long story short, right? I'm just trying to tell you, see the character. Before we get into all the other stuff, do you have the character? A lot of people come, can you pray for me for this? Can you teach me how to do this with finances? Can you show me how to live this way? Can you or your wife show me this about herbs? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And it gets to a place where at some point you got to start asking. People don't like it, but at some point I got to start asking questions like, do you have the character to hold this? How you doing, Brother Allen? Like at some point, I got to ask a question. Do you have the character to be able to handle what you're asking for? Come on, right? Do you see the reason you like Sonic is because you like the character. Sonic on the outside keeps coming back different, but Sonic on the inside is the same. See, so he holds your attention, right? That's why y'all didn't like. For those of y'all who got children, or those of y'all who were adults who felt this way, right? You had Sonic come out Remember the first movie came out and Sonic didn't look like what y'all were used to Sonic looking like on the game. They had to make it look realistic, and they made it look a little too realistic. He had actual real eyes, and y'all didn't learn something closer to real eyes, and you guys could not stand the fact that Sonic had real eyes. You're like, that's not who Sonic looks like. Y'all are trash, this and that. Y'all can't draw on their level. But what were you saying? There were certain things that you wanted to see as far as that character, and it was, even though you hadn't even seen the movie to know if it was okay, if it was going to be bad, if it was going to be great, if it was going to be cool, if it was going to be something you could be with. Like, you didn't even care about that. Why? Because you started talking about character traits. So they went back, because of what you did in the commercial, changed the whole movie up to make sure that Sonic through the whole movie looked like what you recognize in character. That's what you're looking for, right? The character. There's certain things that are there, right? Do you have the character to hold what the Most High has? Do you have the character? See, because without character, character doesn't change. It doesn't waver. If you want faith that doesn't change, you got to deal with character. Is it true everything isn't for all? You need to have certain characters, certain fields of work. Yeah. Do you have the character that when people say, I don't like the way that you doing that in your house, this is the character of the house? Okay, thank you, Nomadic. Appreciate you. Right? We asked for a lot of different things. I want freedom for the diaspora. Do you have the character for that? Uh-oh. If you got Amy Schumer out of me, I don't know where you got that from, but if that's your way of saying hello, appreciate you. If that's your way of trolling, appreciate you. Right? But do you have the character? See, you can ask for freedom, but do you have the character to obtain freedom? Uh-oh. Everybody wants freedom. Do you have the character that it takes? Because in order to remain free, guess what that means? In order for somebody to remain free, that means you got to stay in character. In order to have works that match your faith, faith without works is dead. Give me $5 million. Where's the works that go with the faith? I have faith that I'm worth 5 million. Yah says, where's the works that go with the faith? You don't get paid for faith, unfortunately. Faith is what causes you to work. You know, I can always tell. See, some people say they have faith. I want to see what your works are. People say that all the time. Talk is cheap. You know, faith is cheap without works. You remember yesterday, this is why they got rid of us, because we were talking about yesterday that money ain't real, right? But we were talking about that yesterday, and they trying to get rid of our numbers now. Praise Yah, we're going to keep on moving, right? They really ain't like what we're talking about today, but that's okay. Well, we were talking yesterday about money ain't real and stuff like that. I want you to recognize something. I want you to see this, right? I heard a term that I knew, I was aware of this, but now I know it because of what I was blessed by listening to somebody today. And I don't even agree with everything the person says, but I praise you, I was open-minded enough to listen. How you doing, Sister Tracy? He was talking about how money costs. And it's like, well, money pays for a cost. That's how your mind goes. But I had to think about it. Basically, money costs. It costs you something to get money. Not just your works, but like an interest rate. What is the interest rate? What are you paying for an interest rate? The interest rate is you paying for money. So wait a minute, I got to use money to pay for money. So that means that I got to make money to use that money to pay for the money that y'all are telling me that is going to be loaned out, even though technically y'all don't even have money, because in order to give a loan, you only got to have 9% of what you have in the bank. And technically, when I give you my money, you only have to have 5% of that still in the bank, because 95% of that can go ahead and be invested into other things. But you won't pay me about you won't teach me about investing, but you'll teach me how to make sure that I keep sowing money into a corrupt system. Money costs you something. right? You're in a system. That's why we said this system is sus. You're in a system to where that's supposed to make sense. It ain't making dollars, but it's supposed to make sense. And they out here making fake dollars and telling you it makes real sense. I'm just trying to say, like you got to be in a position. You got to start seeing that. Why do I got to pay money for money? If I'm supposed to just pay you back, why not pay you back? Why is there an interest rate? Why are there variances in them? Why is there a variable interest rate? Why is it that I might have an interest rate that's crazy because y'all expect money right back? And so you give me a 25% interest rate. Y'all might even do something to stop me when you give me the 100,000 from me getting what it is that I need to. So now that you stop me, now I owe you 25,000. If I don't pay you that, you got interest for that. So now because you jacked me up, the system that you created jacked me up, and you guys messed around and lost your money and lost my money and lost everybody's money, and your banks keep failing. This is why these banks are failing. So now that your banks keep failing, now you want to keep coming at me. Yeah, it's entrapment and slavery, chattel slavery, allowed by the 14th Amendment, because now you can lock people up. If you can lock people, I'm sorry, the 13th Amendment, excuse me. And if you can lock people up according to the 13th Amendment, anybody you lock up is a slave. That's why those who are in debt are slaves. Those who are slaves are in debt. But we think that this system is sus. But see, the system has no character. When you have no character, remember, character doesn't change. When you have no character, you can keep changing. What's the dollar today can become Fed now tomorrow. You said slaves to who? Slaves to those that you're in debt to. If somebody goes to prison right now, according to the 13th Amendment, if somebody goes to prison, if they would lock you up and put you in prison, you are allowed to be a slave. You are a slave. You are a chattel slave, right? But when you get in prison, what do they say? They say that you pay your debt to society. You're a slave to CarMax. Do you owe CarMax as far as you're in debt to them? If you're in debt to them, right? If you're in debt to them, then yeah, in a sense. It depends on what your master says or what you contracted out, or if you know about UCC 1-308, if they stop being honorable, or if you know how to make sure that you recognize that you're dealing with the straw man, or if you make sure, like, even if you go to get a car, now CarMax is different than what we're talking about, but if you were to go to a dealership, do you know that if they ask you to use your social security number by law, that's illegal, and therefore if they ask your social to be able to expand your credit or basically do a credit check, you can tell them, like, I'm not going to make a down payment, because by law, they have to protect your right. But yeah, if you are in debt to somebody, then yeah. Like, even when it comes to biblical context, if we be honest, it says you are bought with a price. But then it says, I allow you to be free. So you were enslaved in debt to sin. Sin means that you have to die. You have to die to yourself. You're not real. You're an artificial person. You're not really who you were supposed to be. Biblically speaking, right? This biblical context, canonical viewpoint, Yahshua comes and dies, purchases you, right? Ultimately, and a man that purchases and covers your sin, so that now you're not in debt to that. Now you can make a choice of your own free will. Will I go back into debt in that society, or will I go into something that's in debt to something else, the person that died for me? Okay, if I go in debt to them, this person says, okay, now I want you to become part of my family, and I want you to be fellow heirs. So to become a fellow heir, right? He says, I no longer call you servants, I call you friends. Now you're on your place of doing something called salvation, salvaging yourself, where you were always supposed to be fellow heirs or kings and queens in a system, in a kingdom, but instead you became slaves to sin. Thanks for being part of the community, Miss Reed. How you doing? Right. So you're dealing with debt. You're dealing with being a slave. But once again, what are we talking about today? This system is sus and character. See, when we keep changing characters, or we keep trying to change what character is, who somebody is, what somebody has done, what somebody meant by something, now we're there. You said being in debt is slavery. That's LMAO. Okay. Well, you can laugh your behind off, and you might want to pick it up off the ground after you finish laughing it off. But you don't know law. You don't know how it works. you know. You don't know how law works. Like, I don't know if the person is still on. Probably not. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? But what I would tell you to do, if you don't believe it, hey, do this right here. Look up law. Look up Supreme Court cases on if you have to pay taxes or not. Because slaves pay taxes. See, people don't believe it because they don't know law. And once again, you got to realize people without character, people who don't study character, they don't look to see what hasn't changed. The law hasn't changed, right? Paying taxes is optional. The law hasn't changed. It's optional. It hasn't changed. And you have to agree, even to a certain degree, even with Fed Now stuff coming up. You know, you have to sign up to it. You have to sign up for it. Like the law hasn't changed. We have this weird philosophy. Like you have to agree. We talked about that yesterday. Currency has to be agreed upon. If it's not agreed upon, it cannot even be called currency. It cannot even be defined as currency. If everybody doesn't agree, the only reason why you pay what you pay or think that that's a negotiable instrument that's worthy of being used, the only reason why you value a checkbook, the only reason why you value a plastic card that's cryptocurrency anyways, but you don't think of it as cryptocurrency is because somebody told you something and you agreed to it. But if you using plastic and not even having money in your account, go to your account right now. Ask them, can I take out $100,000 I have saved up in the bank? Watch the bank tell you that we can't do that for you right now. Because they only have to have, out of that 100,000, they only have to have 5,000. And they technically don't even have that in the bank. But all they got to have is 5,000. And once you give them 100,000, they're supposed to use that to try and make money off of that. But not everybody's going to be able to receive that. I get that. Not everybody's trying to receive that. I get that. Not everybody wants to receive that. I get that. Right? People see me a certain way. People don't like it when I say, hey, man, you know what? The goal is to become unemployable. Unemployable. If you're not employed, how are you going to make money? By being yourself. And especially people who are in the scripture. It should be worrisome to us that people that are in the scripture who think against scripture. Like greatness and mercy, grace and mercy, who the Most High is, and his mercy will follow me, all the days of my life. Okay, I guess we got music here today. All right, I'm last few times trying to go out somewhere, stuff is playing. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to you'll be able to hear me. All right. But surely his greatness and mercy, his grace and mercy, who he is and his mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And you know what's about to happen and all this stuff? People keep talking about there's going to be a depression. There's going to be a recession, right? That's not a place people don't get. And really it's already happened, just people don't want to admit it. You're not about to deal with a recession or depression. You're about to deal with a collapse. You hear what I'm saying? You're not about to deal with a depression. You're about to deal with a collapse. And you're about to deal with the collapse because money was never real in the first place. And so now what you're saying is you're like, oh no, we're going to have to spend our money. Fed now. You're about to agree to Fed now because your mentality, even if you don't like it, you realize the dollar don't mean nothing no more. It's not currency. Since it's not currency, it doesn't flow. Since it doesn't flow down the riverbanks, it doesn't make sense in your banks anymore. Since the banks are not making money off of it anymore, they're going to try to give you something different to flow, because if it doesn't flow, it becomes stagnant. If it becomes stagnant, it's dead. You can't have faith in it because it's dead, because it doesn't work. Faith without works is dead. So now here you are trying to figure out, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? I'm here to tell you. I'm here to show you. I'm here to reveal to you. I'm here to give you something that is a tool. Realize that you were always the collateral anyways. You were always the money-making machine. You were always the ATM. You were always the ATM. You were always the ATM. Don't get this thing twisted. You were always the ATM. You've always been that. How you doing, Austin? And I apologize for the music. I wasn't expecting it, right? I guess something's going on here today. I thought I picked a nice quiet spot. And now it's about to blow up, I guess. I don't know, right? Looks like vendors might be popping up, but I think we'll be fine. We won't be too loud. I apologize. How you doing, Xavier? Shalom to you, right? I'm trying to show you, like, you're the ATM. I'm an ATM. What y'all call goodness or his grace, right? Grace and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. You're chasing after grace and mercy. You chasing paper. You chasing the bag. I got to get the bag. I got to get the bag. The bag is always in my back pocket. I got fat back pockets. The bag is always in there. When I realized that, I stopped chasing certain things. Even people who do well in business, even people who are celebrity, they will tell you that one of the things that they've had to learn is they've had to learn to stop chasing business success, right? Because just let it happen. Because when you chase business success, you love when it's great, but you also hate when it's bad. And even when it's great, you're always trying to figure out, how do I make sure that I get ready? Because I know bad times are coming. So you're always stressed. And a lot of people who have business, you give up on the business, but not because the business isn't going to yield anything, but because you're so stressed out. Right? I'm all in on what I do, but I'm not all in on the finances. But by being all in on what I do, I'm all in on the finances, because what I do is attached to finances. Finances, they hitch onto the wagon. Blessings hitch onto the wagon, right? There's an old saying: if you're going to be a leader, leaders don't look for people. Leaders don't look for followers. You hear what I'm saying? Leaders don't look for followers. Leaders are just who they are. They lead an environment, and people like the environment and say, I'd like to be able to come in there. What principles should I follow? And then you just tell them to follow the same thing you follow. I don't ask for anybody to follow me. And if you follow me, what are you supposed to do? Follow me as I follow the Most High, as I follow Yeshua, as I follow Christ. That's what you should be following. So if you follow anything, you should be following me as I. In other words, you don't follow me anyways. You're only following the person who I'm following. Do you not know? This is why you got to even learn about generational blessings and generational curses. Do you not know that when you follow your father, you follow your grandfather? Character, right? Do you not know that when you follow the Most High, you should be following the spiritual father? Watch it, right? Amen. You attract finances. That's right. See, do you not know, right? See, people don't get this. Wherever my foot treads, this is what the Bible says. Can I say something to you? And this is gonna sound like I got a big head and all that, especially after what TikTok did to us yesterday and everything. But I just got to speak truth, all right? And you should believe this about yourself, by the way. You ready? You ready for this? You should believe this about yourself. You ready? Praise Yah. I am dangerous because I have character that goes with my gift. Some people don't want to hear that. But I'm gonna say it again. And you need to know about this about your gift. I am dangerous. I am dangerous to the society. I am dangerous to the way that people live, to the way that people dress, to the way that people eat, to the way that people spend money. I'm dangerous to the way that people live, or want to live, the way they want to eat, the way they grow food, because I have character that goes with my gift. My gift is teaching. My number one gift is teaching. And everything that I do, even other giftings, if you want to call it that, I teach at all times. I cannot help myself. I have to actually sometimes come back off of it some, because I can't even deal with my family without teaching. And sometimes I go into teaching mode, right? Rather than listening mode or something like that, because I'm so busy. But even as being a teacher, I love to be taught, right? I have become dangerous because of what I speak, and I have developed my character. Speaking, etymology, words, etc. They are characters. They have characters attached. They do not change. And I have become somebody who does not change what words mean. I do not change what callings are. I do not change what should be taught. I do not change the historical value to make it historical value. I have not changed it. And so since I have not changed it, I am dangerous, right? I recognize this about myself, but it also means that then promises of the Most High. Somebody will say, you're not humble at all. Oh, I'm very humble. I've humbled myself into the calling that the Most High has, and I make of myself no reputation. It's not because I'm great, right? But I'm a vessel. And so if I'm the vessel, I must admit this about the vessel, because anything that Yah is using as a vessel, anything that he touches, anything that he creates, has got to be great. Come on now. Come on now, right? It's got to be great. It's got to be awesome. It's got to be magnificent. He didn't call me out of darkness into his marvelous light so I could just humble myself in what y'all call humble myself and be dark again and make sure that nobody can see me. When I show up in the room, I'm supposed to be light. I'm supposed to bring light on certain situations, and I do so through my gifting. So when it comes to teaching, I'm just going to be honest with you. I know that there's not anybody on the earth, not because I'm better or worse, but because there's no other Kofi like me. So therefore, there's nobody who can teach like me. There's nobody who can explain like me. There's nobody who can preach like me. There's nobody who can move in certain ways. There's nobody who can be able to do those. I'm not saying nobody can do those things you drink, but you cannot do them like me. So therefore, when I decided to be who I was and to realize that whom Yah has called me to, as long as I'm obedient, and I keep character, is not my character I'm keeping anyways. I'm keeping the character that he placed on the earth realm called Kofi Ofori. And as long as I keep that character in place, it means that I'm going to do great things. I'm dangerous. Every footstep that I take, the system has to fall apart. It has to bow down. Every time I go to a store, the system has to bow down. Every time that I show up somewhere, people are supposed to look and say, who is that? Something different about him. Who is she? Something different about her. Who is that? That child is acting different. Who are these people, right? Every time I go somewhere, you know why? Because of character. Character doesn't change. Be careful when you're around people and they keep changing. Be careful when you're around societies that keep changing. Be careful when people keep calling themselves something different from generation to generation to generation. Be careful when you don't know what it is to be black anymore. You don't know what it is to be Negro anymore. You don't know what it is to be African American. You don't know what it is to be Shwe. You don't know what it is to be Yashta. You don't know what it is to be Tisalagi. You don't know what it is to be Wampanoag. You don't know what it is to be Haudenosaunee. What it is to be Blackfoot, to be Creek, to be Seminole. You don't know what it is to be Gullah. You don't know what it is to be Gola. You don't know what it is to be Mali. You don't know what it is to be the original Ghana. You don't know what it is to be Kemet. You don't know what it is to be Kush. You don't know what it is to be Nubia, because Nubia and Kush, while in the same places, are not always the same thing. When you don't know your character, you got a hard time coming. Oh, you come on, somebody. When you don't know your character, you got a hard time coming. See, your character doesn't change. Might I ask something? Please don't get mad, right? If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, take it off, right? Right? I take my little cheap shoes off. Praise y'all. I love these shoes. Right? Right? If the shoe fits weird, if it don't, feel free to discard it. Throw it to the side, right? If it don't fit on your foot no more, right? If I'm talking about something that's not about you, praise y'all. But if this is for you, this is for you. And the Holy Spirit told me this is going to be for about what we're talking about today. When we get into this, it's going to be about for 40, 50 people today. I believe it was 50. Let me be obedient. I believe it's going to be for about 50 people that's going to hear this today, right? Whether you listen to the whole thing or not, this is going to bless you today. It's going to bless you. It's going to challenge you, but it's going to bless you. Question. I talked about this for Patreon family. Y'all heard a little bit of this yesterday. So remember I told you on Patreon, I told you we're going to go into this some today. Here we go. If I were to meet you 20 years from now, would you be the same? If I were to meet you 20 years from now, would you be married to the same woman? If I were to look at your last 20 years, are you the same? I didn't say have you not grown. I'm saying, is there anything in you character-wise that's the same? Are you faithful to anything? Like, have you had in the last 20 years, have you had 15 different jobs? Have you started 85 businesses and none of them took off the ground? Have you had 17 boyfriends, 17 girlfriends, and every breakup was always their fault, but everywhere you go, there you are? Character, you won't deal with your character. I'm I'm just I'm just trying to see. I got to ask a question. Character doesn't change. The letter A is a character because no matter what language you see it in, even when you see it in its original form as olive, it's a character. It doesn't change. It's the same thing. I know what an A is, even if you say it's ah, if you say it's a, if you say it's ah, if you write it in French, if you write it in Spanish, if you write it in Portuguese, if you write it in English, right? No matter where you write it, how you write it, character. Come on, somebody. No matter how you want to write this thing out, I know what that is. I know the letter A. If it's on its side, I know it's A. If you put it backwards, it still looks like an A. If you hide it under something, if I pull back the mystery, if I pull back the curtain, if I pull back the all the distractions from it, I can still find the letter A. I'm looking for character. I'm not saying this once again. I'm not saying this automatically, if you had different experiences, it automatically means you're a bad person. I'm just asking for you to start thinking to yourself, is there a reason why? Is there a reason why everybody's saying the same thing about you and you keep saying, I'm not going to deal with it because they just don't comprehend? Could it possibly be there's a character flaw? Could there be an issue with your character? And is it okay if somebody brings up as a possibility, or do you get so frustrated and so upset because somebody would dare say that you need to look at your character? Amen. Yeah, and I get it. trick question, so to speak, Sister Sonia, right? But character. When somebody cusses you out, what's your character? Always open to suggestions and praise God. When somebody cusses you out, what character shows up? See, there's some things such as church hurt. I get it. I experience it. I still deal with it. I deal with it. I get it. There's people I was talking to my wife about going to visit, right? I'm not going to do it today, obviously, but I was like trying to figure out, well, one of these days, maybe I'll go to where they are and I'll do the live over where they are. And then once I finish doing the live, I'll come in the service or whatever and at least say hi. It's been a long time. But one of the things that was difficult to deal with, we started talking and I started realizing, character. Character. Right? There's some character flaws that keep that same energy. Yeah. When people say keep the same energy concerning your character. See, because you want to do something powerful, but you're asking the Most High for something. He says, do you have the character? Your character is what's going to cause people to obtain it. Right? Your character. Watch this. It takes a lot of character to run a business that's going to be worldwide. Say what you will about these people these presidents and these CEOs or whatever, right? They have more character than you in some aspects of life, right? Now their character is terrible concerning their marriage. Sometimes their character is terrible, like concerning this or that. Their character might be terrible concerning how they treat their people, right? But you don't run a business on that level without having some kind of character. You might not like them, but they got some character. See, we don't like it when other people are getting blessings that we don't get. We say, how do they get the blessings that we don't get? Well, they have character. Do you not know that Fortune 500 companies that y'all don't like to deal with, they tithe? Did you know that? A lot of them will tithe and then tell you, we don't even know why we tithe. We just do. They'll tell you straight up, we don't even know why we tithe. We just do. And they tithe. They give a tribute. They give 10%. And they make money off of it. And a lot of times, especially when they deal with 501c3 companies, they get 100% profit back, which means that they didn't even tithe with a sacrifice. They just tithe knowing they would get it back. Meanwhile, you're supposed to get more than what you gave, and you won't get it. And I'm not just talking about your money. What about your time, your talent, your effort, your energy, finance? Hey, how you doing, Sister Serling? All right. What about those things? You could contribute 2 hours and 12 minutes a day to something that the Most High is giving. Character. Remember, we said words are made from characters, which means that words make up what? They make up scrolls. Scrolls make up what you would consider to be law. Laws are things that are supposed to protect your rights. Laws don't give rights, laws protect rights. And they're kingdom laws, which means that laws put you in connection with the King of Kings. But we can't even get you to hold the character of a word. Do you not know the first character of the alphabet? It means the Father. The first character out of the 22 that we should be dealing with is being like the Father. Be ye holy as I am holy. That means be ye one. The character also, the first character of the alphabet also represents the number one. Be ye one. Be ye whole. Be ye holy as I am holy. Right? The Most High, when He's giving us these words, these are bars He's spitting. These are bars He's spitting. Be ye holy. Be ye one. Be ye Allah. Be ye Aleph. Be ye one as I am one. Be ye, see, because if you can be one like I am one, I'm asking for you to make of yourself no reputation. Be last in my presence as a king, but realize that as you are last in my presence, the last will be first. And as I am first in your presence, I'll come down there and die for you on the top, the last character. The first will be last, the last will be first. Somebody got that if you know the Hebrew characters. That the first character means the Father, the last character means what? It means the place that it was finished. It means the cross. It means the top, right? It means the place that's marked. So therefore, He said, if you'll let me be first in your life and let me be the Father, the source of all, He said, I'll let you be the top. You sacrifice yourself, but ultimately your sacrifice won't be enough. I'll become the sacrifice. The first will become last, and I'll be on the top for you so that you can turn around and be a fellow heir. The top, which shall be Aleph, the last shall be first. Come on, somebody. That's a word. He's trying to tell you. He's trying to show you His word. But once again, we're missing the culture. Our culture comes with character. Come on, somebody. That's a praise-worthy moment right there. How you doing, Dennis? That's a praise. That's a proclamation that you can get praise for, so that can rain down in your life, right? That's a praiseworthy moment right there. I'm trying to teach you about character before I can deal with stuff. Before I gave you the ability to be fruitful and to multiply, replenish, and subdue, I need you to first recognize that I've come here to give you image. I've come here to give you character. Your spirit has to have my image on it, because your spirit is what your soul's going to be attached to, and also be able that you can have connection to the flesh. Your spirit must have character. Your pneuma, your pneumatical thought, the Stoic thought that marries the spirit, the soul, and the body together. It must have character. Your soul, your psyche, your psyche, your psychology, it needs character. Is it not interesting that psychologists nowadays are the worst character people that we have? Isn't that interesting that the people who are leading your governments are the worst people when it comes to character? Bill Gates, this is character. Bill Gates, as far as we were taught growing up, Bill Gates created this great processing system. But Bill Gates never created anything. But as far as everybody knows, he created it. Why? No character. That same person who never created anything and bought something out didn't even really go to college like that. And if you listen to him speak, you can see that although he has a great business mind, you can also see that he's not really great orator. He's not really great at making sure that people can comprehend things. He's not really great at making sure that he shares things with others. He has thousands of acres of land, 2,000 plus acres of land. The person in the United States of America has double that. The number one person has double that, has something like 4,000, 5,000 acres of land, size of small countries, small islands, rather. Right? And won't share any of that with you, but then we'll tell you about what? We'll tell you that we have a problem with overpopulation. There's not enough food, things like that. Like you got to recognize this stuff. No character. So you steal food from people and then tell them that you need to kill their babies and their grandbabies off because there's not enough food, even though you won't give them food, right? You lied and said that you're a genius of this century. Now, business genius maybe, but you said you're a genius and all this stuff, but you never created anything. You were supposed to be the paragon of virtue, you and your wife. And now we're supposed to look at you and your wife as working together as virtuous people who work together, because you divorced. You couldn't keep your marriage, your house straight, but somehow, somewhere you're supposed to keep the world straight. See, because in my culture, it says that if I desire the office of a pastor, right, I desire a great work. But first things first, I should be the husband of one wife, and my house should run well. My children should be in subjection. If my family doesn't operate well, how in the world? Yeah, Bill Gates, 270,000 acres of land. Thanks, babe. Yeah, right. So if my family can't operate well, how can I teach you about building business and my family can't have business? I have business. My wife has business. My son has business. Now we can start talking, because apparently I touch things, and even if business is not necessarily my best gift, it's obviously something that I flow in. I must have some truth of what I'm talking about. I must have some context of what I'm talking about, right? Like, you should see that, right? Because I can do it within my family. If you ask my son a question about herbs, he can say things on levels that adults can. Why? Because his mother is a herbalist. Therefore, she must know something about what she's talking about. If her son can be out here and be like, oh, that's wild lettuce. Oh, that's dandelion. You know what? Let's pull up the roots of that. Oh, that's burdock over there. Hey, that's yellow dot. Hey, that's this. He can have that conversation. So there must be something. But see, a lot of people are so busy preaching to you, family is wrong, character's not right. How you doing? Is it Lajaha? I hope I'm saying that right. Or Laha? Well, I guess it would be Lajaha. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Thanks for being part of the community. Right? You gotta start asking yourself. People have all this stuff, but where's your family at? How is your child treating their spouse? Let me start there. Brother talking about marrying you. How does he treat his mother? What does he expect from his mother? What does his mother expect from him? You might be asking for expectations that he's never been ready for. What does his father do? Or his father figure? We want stuff without character. Character comes first. Character comes first. Straight up. Straight no chaser. Character comes first. See, we have faith in things without even looking for character. Excuse my saying it if it messes with you. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, take it off. We have faith in things that have no character. Nobody looks for character, but they got faith. It's weird. Faith doesn't come before character. You have to have the character to have faith. Remember I told you words and letters, and you guys are into spells because you like spelling and stuff. That's what the culture you're in. That's what they teach you to do, right? But when you spell out a word, every word has to have a certain amount of characters, right? I cannot acknowledge something if I don't have a letter A because the character is necessary. The character A must be in the word acknowledge, or else it's not the word acknowledge, period. That's how that works. I must have character to complete it. So you're trying to have complete faith, but don't have the character. Where's the A? Where's the I? Where's the T? Where's the H? Where's the F? We're trying to present words that lack character. You're trying to spell out something. You're trying to present something. You're trying to interpret something and are not looking for character. It's crazy out in these streets when I hear people say stuff like, I've heard people say stuff, it's weird. I don't even know where it comes from. I've heard people say stuff like, well, I'm not really trying to be under a pastor that's, talking about marriage and stuff. You're supposed to be married to the Most High. Even the single pastor should be talking about marriage. I don't even understand. But see, I can't understand it. I comprehend it a little bit, but I try. It's hard for me to do that. But I empathize with it because I realize what it is to have been a person who lacked character. And when I lack character, I lack a lot of values. How you doing, Brother Brian? Right. And if the babies are watching, how you doing? Like, you got to realize a lot of people are out here lacking character. They don't even want to have character. They don't want to even have character growth. They don't want to have a character arc. They don't want to have a character discussion, right? But you can't even write a story without character. You like your books because of the characters. Right? So watch this. Watch this. Talk back to me real quick. I know we don't have as many people on as normally, right? As we normally do. And thank you to everybody who's listening on the podcast. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for being on. I know we don't have as many people as we normally have on, but talk back to me, family, if you can, in the chat. If I were to tell you you're going to read a romantic novel, what characters would you automatically be looking for? If I said I'm going to write out a romantic novel, what characters would you automatically, right, without me having to tell you, without you having to say, even if you've never read one, what would you, even if it's assumptions, what characters, if I said I'm going to start reading a romantic novel, before I start even break out the book, what would you look for? You would look for a character, right? That would be a love interest. Okay. You look for a man and a woman. What else would we look for? Right? See, everything comes with character. We're going to make this plain. See, because you got to start looking for character. This system is sus. It lacks character, but somehow, some way, it's supposed to. Looking for an antagonist. I'll just add this in there. We're looking for an antagonist. If we're looking for a protagonist, great. What else would we look for? Okay, a couple, man and woman couple, leading man, leading woman. What else would we look for? Right? Like if we're gonna deal in this, what would we look for? Intimacy, language, affection, a backstory of how they met, or how they met, and then even a backstory before they met. Yeah. Main characters, okay. How you do, MIT tomorrow? Looking for a character that would be like a protagonist, right? Good, right? Good character. Or a character that we can sink our teeth into, so to speak. I think that's probably what you meant as well, right? a hero and a villain, right? So you got the protagonist, the antagonist, right? So all those things in a romantic novel. Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to see a movie now. We're going to go see an action movie. What are you looking for? What's the characters that you that what is the character that you're looking for in the movie? We're going to see an action movie now. We're going to see the Avengers. We're going to see Black Panther. We're going to see Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going to see Super Mario Brothers. We're going to see whatever. What's the characters we're looking for? We're looking for a villain. We're looking for somebody who has weapons, gun. Okay. What else? You see how this is? Everything has character. Looking for a hero, right? And you'll notice some of these things we're looking for in every single kind of movie, right? Every single kind of book. We're gonna look for action, obviously, right? Fighting. It's an action movie. Is there gonna be a love interest thrown in there? Probably, right? Probably some kind of love interest, something like that thrown in there. Maybe superpowers if it's a superhero movie, it's a comic book movie. Some kind of tragedy, right? Also, too, I'll add in what my wife said earlier, what the honorable mind said earlier. Backstory, probably. He said we would be very disappointed if we didn't see what we expected, right? If I go to see an action movie, I expect some action. That's why some action movies be terrible because you like, dang, we 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in, ain't no action. A lot of people didn't like the fourth Matrix, first of all, because it seemed like a terrible thing. I didn't see it, but from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it seems like it's not worth it. But also too, didn't have that much action. But one of the reasons it didn't have that much action is because Neo or Keanu Reeves, he was busy doing action movies already. So he was learning choreography or things. He didn't have that much time. So all they had time really to do was the force push thing. Push people, push people, push people, because he ain't had time to learn. So a lot of people were like, man, I don't want, I came here for action and I'm used to like these groundbreaking action stuff. Or even if you're not going to do anything groundbreaking, can you go back, give me nostalgia and do the old stuff that you used to do? They ain't even do it. You said one of the writers weren't involved. Well, the original writer wasn't involved even in the original Matrix, right? But that people like the original Matrix because they're closer to the original Matrix. So remember the woman who actually wrote the Matrix, she wrote Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and the Matrix. She actually sued and got her money for the Matrix. So a lot of people don't know that, right? That's why the Matrix 2, 3, and 4, were all things. Well, number 4, the Wachovia, whatever they're calling themselves now, the Wachovia sister, one of them wouldn't come back. The other one did it. Was kind of forced into it legally or whatever, so they didn't want to do it anyways. But that's why y'all like the first. A lot of people like the first Matrix. They don't like number 2 and number 3 as much, because they're not supposed to be the same thing. Matter of fact, they changed the name. His name is Thomas something now, Tom something, but originally his name was going to be John Connor, JC, the same thing, JC from the Matrix, but that was supposed to stand for Jesus Christ. So you like those movies, and a lot of y'all who like Terminator and Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, right? You also like the Matrix. Why? Because if you notice, it's machines and this and that. It's the same story, right? The machines tried to go ahead and go back. The machine, the beast, right? Tried to stop the person who would give birth to JC. That's Revelation chapter 12. Israel, or even Genesis chapter 3, Israel is birthing out the Messiah, the child, right? And so they're trying their best to stop what's going on. They try to kill the mother. They can't kill Israel, right? Revelation chapter 12. And so they start looking for the remnant of Israel. So then what do they do next? And they try to go to the Messiah. That's supposed to be Terminator chapter 2. Or sorry, Terminator 2, Terminator part 2, right? Now they're going after the child, right? They couldn't get the mama. Now they're going after the child, right? And little did they know that the person that was sent back to protect the mother was also the same person who was going to end up basically being the father and the son basically being one and the same type thing. Like she's getting into some really interesting places, right? Terminator 2, then the mother is out of the picture pretty much, right? But the son is who they're coming after now, coming after JC, or who they call Jesus Christ, or in the movie they call John Connor. Then what was supposed to happen with the Matrix, right before they changed it up, the Matrix comes out after that. So the Matrix is really Terminator Part 3, not whatever else of is that thing that they did where Arnold comes back and this and that or whatever, and all the bombs go up and they went, no. The real Terminator 3 is the Matrix. And the Matrix basically is JC they couldn't kill him, right? And so those who come out of JC, or people not recognizing the power that they have within themselves, they have been assimilated. Now, the machine couldn't kill them all. Next best thing we have is to assimilate them. If we assimilate them, then basically we're going to end up killing them anyways. So let's assimilate them, and let's go ahead and have them be assimilated. They begin to wake up, and as they begin to wake up, now all of a sudden you've got people that are at war, but come to find out there are people who've always been woken up, who've been separate from the system, who've been trying to release others or whatever. So this thing that you thought was a matrix, or this thing that you thought was machines, or now the machines, and they changed it too. You know, they started they made the humans batteries and stuff like that. That wasn't necessarily how it was supposed to work either. But long story short, what you know from the movie, that's how that came to be. Right? Yeah, assimilation versus segregation, all those things, right? So they tried to outright kill us. They couldn't kill us off. So then they assimilated us. That's what the story is telling you. They tried to kill you. They couldn't kill you off. So then they assimilated you. They tried to kill you off, or they tried to keep you segregated. Segregation didn't work as well as assimilation, right? You love integration, but the problem with is the word integration, by the way, you know that the word integrate, it means to become one with. It becomes married with. Question: is your culture integrated, married into the system? Are your languages integrated, married into the system? Are your hairstyles integrated, married into the system? Have they become one? Right? Sisters, is feminism for you? Don't go off of what I'm saying. You tell me. Is feminism for you? Does feminism help the sisters out here? Is it looking out for your interests? When you see a feminist march, so you know, ooh, black women are going to be taken care of. Israelite women are going to be taken care of. Moorish women are going to be taken care of. Native women are going to be taken care of. Right? The system is sus. It has no character. They would have you and I march and say Black Lives Matter and make sure that there's a Stop Asian Crime bill. Where's your Stop Black Hate bill? I mean, your lives matter, so to speak. The same people that made sure that they stopped Asian hate, they could have stopped Black hate, couldn't they? I mean, they could have, right? How you doing, Lily? Right? They could have done that. Could they not have? Could they not have stopped Black hate? Could they not have done that? I just said we got to start asking questions. People don't like the questions, but I got to ask because see, it's not your sisters that are out there doing it. It's our sisters who are out here dealing with this mess. Right? I mean, for interpretation in this apologetic story or these apologetics period in this debate. Right? Let's have proper conversation. Runs off of you being, except problem is you were never integrated. To integrate with something, you have to marry into it. If you marry into something, that means you marry into the culture. This is why I tell people often ask, as far as Israelite belief system and biblical belief system, should we marry people that are white or people that are this or people that are that? Your problem is not whether they're white or not, because not all skin folk are kinfolk. Your problem is culture. If they don't bow down to the culture, and you can't, because watch this, if you marry somebody, you got to bow down to theirs too. Unless somebody's willing to say my culture is just straight up evil, or I just outright. But look, if two cultures come together, two cultures come together. Do you have one culture? That's the reason why they say it. They're not saying because this person is not an Israelite per se, because guess what? Before there were Israelites, that was something that we still did. We look for people that had a certain culture. Abraham told his servant, go out and get me somebody for Isaac, my son. Go to this particular place because I know this is how they worship. I'm looking for somebody who has our character. I don't want my son with just anybody. I want my son with somebody who has character. That's why that happened that way. It's an executive system designed to hate us. Yeah. Right? The system is not designed for you to help you. This is why it doesn't matter if it's Clarence Thomas or whatever the black sister is that's now in the Supreme Court, who's the Supreme Court justice or whatever. Like, that's why they're not for you. They're not for you because they represent the system. Look at the oath that they took. By the way, look up the definition of an oath when you get a chance. You don't even know what we don't even know what oaths are or an oath is. I don't know if it's oaths is plural or not. Right? We don't know what an oath is. We don't know what they are. When somebody takes an oath, question for you: what is an oath? I'm talking about legally. I'm not talking about some nonsense. I'm talking about legally. See, you keep talking about separation of church and state. What is an oath according to the law? I don't need that, which goes ahead and does those things. But thank you, Carl. If that's your way of saying hello, how are you doing? You need to do better than that. Me being okay with my hair locking naturally is not something that's going to cause me to lose any sleep. But I thank you that you see so much in me that you would go ahead and lose sleep or lose time, or it would take that much time out because you see something great in me that you need to attack. It does nothing but make me realize how great I am. But you do what you do, right? What is an oath? Because my locks are an oath, but they're an oath to somebody different than what you have an oath to, right? What is an oath? Does anybody even know? Those who were in class last night, y'all know. What is an oath? People don't even know. People have no clue. A pledge? A pledge to who? That's close. It's close. It's not even a pledge, but we can say it's a pledge. But what is it a pledge? What is an oath? Come on, somebody. When you hear this, it's gonna mess with your mind. This is legal, by the way. What I'm about to say. I'm not giving you some random definition. I'm talking about this is how your laws work. At least the laws that y'all subscribe to, because it's a choice. You don't have to, but you're taught to go ahead and do it, so you do it. An oath is a promise to a deity. That's what oath is. It's a promise to God. Now you got to ask yourself, who is God? Because God is not always Alakam. Yeah, right? Promise to a deity. But who is God? Who is the deity? Who is the father of your nation? When they say God bless America, who are they talking about? Lawfully, legally. See, people think we're making this stuff up till you go read law. A promise to God. Who is their God? George Washington. You're talking about Masonic stuff, and you think that this is something where they're saying you can worship whatever. You go to your church and you have an American flag. Some of y'all got the American flag with the gold trim around it, meaning you talking about maritime law. You don't even realize what's going on. Your church is not even a church at that point. Your church has decreed itself to be part of maritime law, and you don't understand it. You don't know how this works. You just go in there. You singing so. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. Right? You love those songs. That's not for you. That's not who you think it is. But then you jazz it up a little bit. They put them little gospel chords on it. They put the organ on it. They put the organ halfway in between so that thing gets a nice little vibrato and stuff, and they get that Hammond sound, and they sing it different. God bless America. Okay, it's different now. Yeah, Jesus is on. No, it's not. That's not what you think it is. How you doing, Marcus? Thanks for being part of the community. Right? When you deal with the oath, you're dealing with a promise to God. You got to know who that God is. It says on your money an oath. What is the oath that's on your money? Y'all know it. What's the oath that's on your money to these gods that you worship? What's the oath that's on there? See, what are we talking about today? Right? This system is sus. And specifically, what are we talking about today? We're talking specifically about the character. This system lacks character. What does it say on your money? What is the oath that's on your money? When you pay your money, when you use it as a negotiable instrument, when you make contracts, you better make sure you always have UCC 1-308 in the back of your mind to where you're not contracting with devils. What does it say? It says, "In God we trust." What God? It's a contract. You're using your money. That's why, look, if somebody says they owe you money, or you owe them money, and you go, well, I owe money, I owe you money. Wow, okay, well, all I got is $5 or whatever. If you pay $5, don't come later on talking about, well, I don't agree that I owe $5. It's too late. You paid them five. If you paid them five, it don't matter if you were supposed to pay 500 a month. If you still paid them five, guess what? You entered in the contract. If you say on the phone, yeah, I guess I owe money. Even if you don't know if you owe money or not, guess what? At that point, I guess I owe money is you saying I understand. I stand under that. And see, somebody was saying earlier, somebody was trying to laugh and say all this stuff. They don't do their research. People think I'm making this stuff up. Go look up what an oath is. A legal definition. Go Google legal definition of oath and come back and holler at me if you don't believe what I'm saying. An oath is a promise to a deity or to God. So guess what? Every time you spend money, it's the same as saying the same thing as when you walk down the aisle. Did you know that? That's why a lot of y'all get divorces when you don't have money, because you're more married to money than you are to your spouse. How you doing, Kira? Yeah, we went there. A lot of y'all are more into money than you are into your spouse. A deity or sacred relic. By the way, look up a legal definition of a relic. you know, like this stuff goes deep. This is why, once again, if you go to Washington, D.C., why is it called Washington, D.C.? When you go to Washington, D.C., on the national mall, the malls, the nation, where the nation is supposed to be represented. D.C., that's a territory, but isn't even a territory anymore, because Virginia asked for the land back, but the United States Corporation will not pay Virginia back for the land, just like they don't pay natives back for the land they've stolen, or they get into these treaties with the natives. They're supposed to pay the natives either for the land, or they're supposed to get off the land, and then they never leave the land, right? They did the same thing to Virginia, right? The state or the country, the nation of Virginia, which is attached to Britain, right? Britain is a commonwealth. It's a commonwealth. See, it's a commonwealth. It's a country, but it's a country that is actually a commonwealth that acts like the king and queens of over there in Great Britain or in London or the places that are still over there, right? It's a commonwealth. The wealth is supposed to be common to the people. Of course, it's not, but it's supposed to be common to the people, a commonwealth. The king or the queens of Virginia are supposed to make sure that those who don't have. It's supposed to be commonwealth. That's how it's supposed to work, right? But anyways, and you're dealing with that. So when you deal with that land that's there called Washington, D.C., you're in a territory that's not even a territory anymore. Congress has to be over there in there because Congress has no identity out and has no authority outside of Washington, D.C. At the same time, Washington, D.C. has no authority. Congress has all authority because D.C., here's kingdom talk, is subject to Congress. And when you go there to the National Mall, you'll see an obelisk. The obelisk is a phallus based off of the story of Osiris, right? It's the phallus that sticks up, and in the ground is the seed. The testicles have seed, the phallus sticks straight up. George Washington's body fell apart, just like Osiris's body fell apart. Isis, or the goddess Columbia now, y'all do the Greek deity Columbia, she's on top of the Congress building. And so just like Isis flew around, Columbia is supposed to fly around, and no building could be higher than her. She's supposed to be able to piece back Washington, her husband, all these ways and wicked ways that are there, put them together. She's supposed to sit on top of his phallus. And just like then, Isis gave birth to Heru, right? Out of necrophilia, out of a zombie, out of something that was a dead version of what used to be there, where you have dead kings still around. And you're dealing with the same thing, to where anything born out of the Congress building is supposed to be this modern day Heru or Horus. Y'all are so busy talking about the Jesus similarities to Horus, or the Yahshua similarities to Horus, but you're not even realizing that y'all are living in a modern day manipulation and perversion of ancient times. You're using the same spirit. And you're so busy thinking it's a white thing, not realizing you're going back into Kemet. This is why people refer to America as a modern day Kemet, or a modern day what they try to call Egypt, right? And you're reading the same Egypticos or the same writings on the walls that were manipulated even by the Kemetic people, because the Kemetic people don't want to tell you not only did they get rid of Israelite things off the wall, they got rid of Cushitic things. Cush is the big brother of Kemet. Cush is basically England. Kemet is America. America wants you to believe that they're better than England and that they're not English. But if it's not for England, there is no America. And the common law that you have in America only exists because it was what was common in England. And England didn't even make it common law for all these things because it was a bunch of laws all over the territories they had as Great Britain. It wasn't until the 1800s, I believe, until they start actually saying that this is common law in Great Britain. Everything that you speak is British or is English, because everything that you speak is Anglo-ish, because everything you speak is brutish. Everything that you speak is brutish because you're dealing with the romantic values. Everything that's romantic you speak is Greek. Everything that you're speaking is Greek is basically dealing with a lot of stuff that's Gentile, or a lot of stuff that's pagan, or a lot of stuff that is Druid. Everything that you're speaking that's Druid, it comes from Canaan. Everything that you're speaking is Canaan is a perversion of the word of Yah. Everything that's a perversion of the word of Yah that's trying to control people is witchcraft. And in our culture, everything that tries to control our people, witches must be put to death. You see, like, this is a long drawn out thing. This is culture speaking, but people don't want to come from culture because culture requires character. I can't change it up to be able to change the definition to make me feel great, because even though I changed the definition to make me feel great, I'm still doing things perverted. How you doing, Minister Morel? I'm still perverted, because to be perverted means that I should be coming straight, but I'm not really doing things right, so I'm getting off track. I should be straight, but I'm getting off track. It should be straight, but I'm actually, as I get closer, I'm getting off track. Like, I have the right thing in mind, but I have a perverted lens that I'm seeing through. It's dirty. It's demonic. By the way, dirty means to be unlawful or to be unclean. To be clean is to be legal, to be lawful. So therefore, I have become dirty. My prism is hard to see through. I can't see through things correctly because I'm so busy being dirty. I got it out the mud. No, you stood up out the mud, but your clothes are still dirty. Get out the mud and go take a shower. How you doing, Minister Tamara? Get out the mud and wash the mud off. Don't just be excited that you stand up. I got it out the mud. I'm waving to see. I got the $100 bill out the mud. You got to take that $100 bill to be clean, because if that $100 bill dries with mud on it, ain't nobody really gonna be able to spend it anyway. Somebody will do their best to spend it, but they still gonna have to clean it first. I got it out the mud. That thing's still dirty. My husband and I, we came together. We came up out the mud. Okay, go clean up now. I'm excited that you stopped laying in mud. I'm excited that you stopped dealing with swine. I'm excited that you came out the mud, that you came to yourself. I'm excited about it. We record these on YouTube. I don't actually have the link tree on here. Normally I do. I don't have it on this channel. But we have it on here. If you look up hashtag find Kofi, if you look at a lot of my videos, they have it. Hashtag find Kofi, hashtag FINDKOFI. If you scroll through some of them, you run into that. Go look that up on YouTube. But we have this on Facebook, on YouTube, and we even put these on the podcast as well. Right. But see, the system is sus, and it lacks character. In any system that lacks, watch it. If you're in a system that lacks character, you can't help it. At some point, you have to be without character. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that's real. If this system is sus, as much as y'all don't want to hear this, if you stay in a system that has no character, you will develop to be somebody that has no character. Like, look, I got love for people who are willing to put their lives on the line. Former military, serve. Thank you for your service. All of you who've served, thank you. A lot of you came out of there with a lot more scars than what I have. I appreciate your service. I know what it is to see people getting shot up and shot at and trying to figure out if you can get somebody home so they can see their loved ones. I've seen many people cry when they got the flag, right? I know what it is. I did a lot of those ceremonies. I even used to do musician stuff in the Navy. So I know what that is to see that too. And to do these ceremonies and do ceremony after ceremony after ceremony, trying to make sure this person knows how much that we should be able to honor them and respect them and show love to them and show love for their sacrifices. I've seen it. I know what it is to see y'all standing attention so long that y'all fall over on your face and fall on the concrete hard, right? I'm sorry to laugh. I was almost that dude that did that, right? But I've seen it, right? I've seen the sacrifice that people don't even. I've seen the person that has to clean barnacles off the side of a ship. You know what I'm saying? I seen the person who I've never done it myself, but I almost did it. I almost signed up for that as my NEC, or as what y'all would call your MOS. I almost signed up to be a nuke. Right, I passed the test and everything was going to become a nuke and spin. I saw families get broken up, or saw people go crazy, sometimes lose their mind because they were down and they didn't see natural sunlight for for months. How you doing, Dark Dog? Thanks for being part of the community. Or well, coming over here, right? I know what that is. I appreciate your sacrifice. I thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it, right? Right. But I'm just gonna be honest with you. I was in the system long enough to see this and to feel some kind of way about this, and I have to deal with this internally. I know what it is to also know that I might have to make a decision to shoot a young child, because supposedly every young child around there is anti-American, and you know that's not true, but that's what you were taught. And part of you was going, if I got to guard this gate over here, if I got to guard, this area for whatever reason, even if I haven't been told why it is, I don't even have the clearance, but I got to guard it. If I'm supposed to do that, I might have to make a decision to shoot a child. Never did, but I might have to make that decision. I see you. I'll be careful, right? So even though I don't want to do that, if I stay in that system too long, I'm gonna have to get used to that being a regular thought. There were people imprisoned who y'all heard about on the news, and there were certain bases that I was at on in the United States of America that I'm not allowed to tell you where it was, what building it was, how it operates, this and that, had no windows there. And we had to be willing, I'm talking about I was up 50 feet high, you know, 50 feet high, M60, ready to shoot anybody that came in because somebody might be coming looking for them. And while I was protecting the person, supposedly protecting the person or protecting, really all I was doing was protecting secrets of the government. And I had to start asking myself, am I really down for doing this for that long? Right? Character popped up, right? They would ask me to pray, knowing that I was in training to be a minister at the time. They would ask me to pray when I was stationed in Pearl Harbor, but I had to be careful because when you're in the military, you can't pray in the name of who you worship. And so I did it, but I started after the first couple times, I started feeling some kind of way because I was like, how can I pray in the name of, or pray but not invoke the name of the person that I worship? I'm just saying, like, character shows up. How can I be in the military to where I know there's sisters that get, trigger warning, I won't use the term, but they get heavily SA'd and then their bodies don't show up, but nobody says anything about it. Like, I'm out there running after girls in the command, not running after them to get their number. I'm talking about we trying to see if they all make it home okay, and they're on the base. Right? If I serve in that too long, some of this stuff just becomes second nature because I'm part of the system. Look, I have no problem with the average police officer, real talk, because most of the police officers you're going to see actually joined up, at least at first, they joined up to change. But you can't be part of a wicked system where we know that police officers come from slave patrolmen. After a little while, you can mean well, but after a certain amount of time, character pops up. Right? Like, after a little while, character's going to pop up. You can try to make it whatever you want to make it, but after a little while, character going to have to show up. You hear what I'm saying? After a little while, character's going to have to show up. Amen. This is for educational purposes only. Amen. Matter of fact, I got it on all. I made sure now it started popping up on all our YouTube videos. I need to start putting on Facebook videos too. This is for educational purposes only, right? If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's okay. Oh, you know what? I don't know. This one's been a long time. I've been having to add people back or add. So I apologize, big. I got you on there. Yeah, I guess a lot of people aren't on here. Hmm. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, but character got to show up. This system is sus. This system wants you to do things and never think about things from the response of your character. Character doesn't change, but character does grow. They want you to have lack of character. Lack of character gives me lack. People out here with lack of character. Once again, you're asking for the blessing. Bless me with this. Give me this job. Give me this money. Give me this. Give me that. No character. What's the character of your people? What are your people? Who are your people? Excuse me. Who are your people? Because people means nation, not who are your persons. Who are your people? She should be one on here. I put her as one. See, what is the character? Right? You're an Israelite woman. Praise God. Hallelujah. Right? So now we got to get into the character. What is the character of an Israelite woman? Right? What's the character of an Israelite wife? What is the character of an Israelite daughter? What's the character of an Israelite child? Right? Like, what is your character? We say we're a people. I'm a child of the Most High. What is that character? You know what I'm saying? What is that character? Yeah, people try to say we're crazy. People don't recognize. What is the character of an Israelite? What is the soul of our community? If you're a people, you got a soul. What is your soul that connects the spirit to the flesh? That's what the soul does. See, this is when obedience comes in. Because, see, lack of character causes lack of obedience. See, without knowing what character to have and without knowing the character of how it's going to lead and guide you and direct you, well, then you can be disobedient all day and not even try to do it because you're a bad person. You're just disobedient because you lack the character that comes with obedience. If you're not going to be obedient to your character, then what are you going to be able to do? You're not even going to be obedient to your character. What is the character of marriage? In our culture, marriage is sex. Sex is marriage. You out here having sex all the time, talking about you ain't married, but the Most High eventually will bless it. The Most High is already looking in disdain because you're not qualified. Because in order to have sex or in order to have marriage, you must be already qualified as a husband or qualified as a wife. And when you are a husband, you must be in your work. And when you are in your work, then you find your wife, and then you submit your resume to your wife. And if she approves of the resume, then she goes ahead and presents it to her father, and you present what's going on to your father, and then the fathers meet up, and the fathers are there to be able to discuss, and then you would pay a dowry for the wife because the wife is worthy of it. She might be worthy of 7 years of work. She might be worthy of you pouring into her, but right, and then she gets prepared for you, and while she's preparing herself for you, you go to prepare a place for her, an add-on to the mansion, and you would be able to do this because not only are you already keeping your father's business going, but you already also have had a place where not only are you keeping his business going, but you had also received an inheritance. So therefore, you already have money, you already have land, you already have these things in place. You're going to leave that, which you'll eventually live on, to go back to your father's house to add on to the things that he's already made for your family. So you're going to have generational wealth that continues to pop up. And when your children come in, when you finally get married, have sex, and you go into your father's house, or at least the mansion to add on to it, they will be able to help you to take care of your children while you go out there and get back into your work, and your wife is able to make sure that she's taking care of the children, and family members can come by because she is not supposed to do anything after she has the child except just basically feed the child and get some rest because she just went through being a living sacrifice. How you doing, Crystal? She just went through being a sacrifice so that now she can make sure that your baby is here. So family's going to come by to make sure that she can repair herself or be repaired, recoup, and go through some things so she won't have to go through the same things anymore. And that when she's finally ready at about 2-3 months, she can start to really pour into the baby. Besides just pouring out liquids, she can pour in love, she can pour in the affection, she can pour in this. The baby is not really even concerned about all that. The baby just really wants food. The baby wants to be held every once in a while, and the baby wants to make sure it doesn't have poop on it, right? The baby's not really concerned with all the stuff that y'all concerned with. The baby's not really laughing like that when they first born. The baby is trying to be out. The baby trying to make it. And the baby is very selfish. The baby will learn how to be giving. The baby will learn, but the baby's like, hey, I need to survive out here. And your wife should be in a culture, should be in a position, should be in a community that says that we will help her to do that. Instead, though, we have been so busy being integrated and becoming one with something, but you can't become one or married to something if your culture doesn't show up. You hear what I'm saying? And we've reversed it to where your wife now is trying to be out there with the job. I I raised my hand, had her in a bad position. She had to do that. So she got to go out right back to the job. Cannot rest and catch up on who she is. Cannot get rid of the foggy mindedness and the haziness. Cannot have time to deal with the postpartum that might show up and all that. Cannot do all those things. She has to go right back out there. And when she goes right back out there, while she goes right back out there to do all those things that she shouldn't have to do, doesn't even have family to support. And basically, now you're having somebody who's not protected. And what's the number one need of a woman? Security. What's the number two need of a woman? Affection. She ain't getting either one. At the time that she's trying her best to not die. She just finished not dying, and she's trying to recover from not dying, and can't get any security or affection. What's the character of your community? You're distracted to make it in the beast system. See, there's no character in that. Or now we've had to what? Redefine character. I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need nobody. Yeah, you do. I'm sorry that we didn't give you what you needed. That's the problem. I'm sorry. We didn't have a society together. We allowed ourselves to become integrated into something rather than integrate into each other. I'm not about segregation, but separation is all right if we're going to integrate into each other. And when I say integration or segregation of these things, I'm talking about those who are like-minded. So yes, Yashadel must come together, but those who are grafted in, which means if you follow the same truth and you're willing to treat people like human beings, come on in. Stop being so upset. People getting so fickle. People getting so into other things that are not righteous. We're in a system to where we don't look for character. You said the whistle was blowing at that part. I don't remember where I was at. That's funny though. Right? You hear what I'm saying? Where's the care? And thank you for the love. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. All that. If you're on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification tab. If you're on Facebook, feel free to share this with somebody. Right? If you're on TikTok, we usually actually are on Kofi_43. I've slowly kind of started using this to go live on, but normally we would be on Kofi_43 for the Rising. We're on every day at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time. And at Kofi_42, we're on there every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern New York time, except for Wednesdays. Wednesdays are my day off. Even though we still have people in the community who preach and teach and do other things, that we have a lot of people have businesses and things. We do more than just the live sessions. We try to make sure that we help people in the diaspora around the world and those who are like-minded around the world. But right now, they got mad at what we were talking about yesterday, so they're trying to shut down Kofi_43. We'll be back up as usual, but we got to go through all the legal stuff behind the scenes. So we'll be back up on probably Mother's Day on Kofi_43. We'll be back up for that. Up until then, we're going to be on Kofi_41 for the Risings, and then eventually we'll switch back over. So if you want, we got 4 of them on TikTok because they shut us down all the time. We got to like go and fight people, so they don't like truth. So and people don't believe me when I say it. Stick around long enough, you'll see it. But if you want to follow us on TikTok, Kofi_40, this one, Kofi_42, Kofi_43, Kofi_44. And that just allows us that if they try to shut one down, we can still go live somewhere else. Okay. So we appreciate you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the likes, all that great stuff. And we've been doing a lot better. We have Patreon stuff. We got classes. We do meetups. We have ministerial staff that reaches out and connects with people. So feel free. Oh, thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Love you very much. Yeah. And my wife, of course, does a lot of stuff too, not just behind the scenes, but also with her business. She's a herbalist, so we're very much so into natural law, natural medicine, things like that as well. So if you need help in that regard, let us know and let her know. And if you stick around to the end of this, we do something called a shout out on here. So if you stick around to the end, I'll probably go at least another hour, be honest with y'all. We go a long time on these, but you can always catch the recordings, but we do a shout out on TikTok at the end where we show our information. Matter of fact, since many of you might be new because we're not in our normal settings, real quick, I'm not going to stay on this too long, but very quickly, I will put up, sorry, y'all. I thought it would be very quickly. There we go. I will put up our information if you'd like to be able to text or email us at some other point or find out just a little bit more about what we're trying to do. I'll put up our information up for a hot second. It's not going to be all our information, but just enough if you want to contact us. And then let's keep on going into this. And by the way, if y'all have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put them in the chat. All we ask is that you be respectful of people's humanity, and you make sure that you allow people to ask questions. And even we allow you to ask questions. Just people come on here and they start using ad hominem and they start making fun of people, or they outright, dehumanize people, things like that. We can't abide by that. And especially now the moderators have to be on watch because we pretty much gave everybody one last chance. And people lying or people getting frustrated, people doing wild stuff. So I bow down to the moderators. It is what it is. I humble myself before them. They got to do what they got to do on all the platforms. So just making that plain. If you don't have respect for people's humanity, can't really have respect for you. All right. I won't say respect for you, but we can't allow your disrespect to abide. If that makes sense. All righty. All righty. You said it bothers the other Jews that were teaching us who the so-called Jews really are. Yeah. How you doing, brother TJ? I didn't see you come on. How you doing, Shabbos? How you doing, Ben? Thanks for being part of the community. So yeah, we're dealing with a lot of stuff, man, and there's lack of character. It's lack of character, right? I don't even remember this person's name. Who was the gentleman? I'll call him a gentleman because I don't believe that we should be ladies and gentlemen. We should be greater than that, if you know what ladies and gentlemen are. But who was the gentleman because of his culture? Who's the gentleman that was up in Canada that was the mayor? Was it the mayor of Toronto? It wasn't the mayor of Toronto, or maybe it was somewhere up in Canada. And there was a mayor, and basically, like, they had evidence, and I'm talking when I say evidence, I mean I'm talking about he was seen clearly on camera smoking crack. And Marion Barry was smoking crack too. Don't get it twisted. Twice, right? He got caught. But whatever the guy's name that was up in Canada, and the thing that was up with him that was crazy was basically like they were asking him, they couldn't just basically fire him because he was a crackhead. And I'm sorry for saying it that way. No offense to anybody if that's what you're dealing with, right? But I'm just saying that's how we would talk about our people if they were out there in the street, right? But this dude was up there. He might be a mayor, but that's what he was doing. He wasn't doing cocaine. If I remember correctly, he was doing crack, right? The watered down version of it, the jacked up version of it, the one that they purposefully put in our communities, things like that. It was Rob Ford. Okay, thank you, Ben. Right? So that's his name, Rob Ford, right? And he was doing. That's what he was doing. And when he was in place, they couldn't necessarily fire him because of it. So they had this whole thing that they did. They put this big trial together, and so they brought him up and they said, "Hey, is it true that you're doing crack?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, that was me." They go, "Do you think that you should step down?" He says, "No." And we're talking about lack of character here. This is supposed to be somebody who, because watch this. Here's the deal. This is when people get miffed me, or this is when I get miffed, right? They say, "Okay, well, you don't believe that people should have did you vote for legislation, or did you help to put legislation in place that would come down on people who did drugs?" He says, "Yes, of course." How you doing, brother Jimmy? Says, "Of course I did." How you doing, sister Nancy? They say, "Okay, so do you think that it should be okay for us to make it harder for people to get jobs who do crack?" He says, "Yes." They say, "Okay, but you shouldn't step down from being the mayor because you did crack." No. They say, "Do you still agree with your legislation about those who do drugs, even weed and marijuana?" Says, "Yes." They say, "But you won't step down because you do drugs." Says, "No." They asked him why. They said, "Why should you be able to do like hard drugs and other people are getting locked up or losing their position stuff for marijuana?" He said that who I am has no effect on how I run the city. And that sounds like total messed up stuff. No, that's an extreme version of it, until you realize that when y'all vote for these presidents, you don't vote for character. Come on, somebody. When y'all vote for these presidents, you don't vote for character. Do you? They don't care about their character. Matter of fact, you tell the truth. Somebody says, "What do you vote? Why do you vote? Both sides are evil." What's your response when somebody says that? When you say that to somebody who votes, what's their response when you say, "Why do you vote for both sides? They're both evil." What's their response? What are these people's response when you say that? They vote for political positions. I'm looking for something specific. When we get to this, y'all gonna all say, "Yeah, well, I've heard that several times." Yep, I vote for the lesser of two evils. That's what they say. I vote for the lesser of two evils. I vote for the lesser evil. This devil is not as much as this devil. If they both serve the devil, they both evil. You see what I'm saying? So lack of character has infiltrated us. We have integrated, so to speak. We have become one with and left ourselves. We have sacrificed ourselves and our position and our lifestyles and what credence, what should give credence to what we're doing. We have left it so much that we don't even care what somebody's character is. Matter of fact, look, I get what people mean because they're right when they tell you this, but this should show you how wicked the system is. What was one of the things they would always say about Obama, especially churches, black churches, especially because the black church was so behind Obama, just like the white church was so behind Trump. Like y'all talk about it like it's a bad thing because of what they doing for Trump and they cape up for whatever he does, but the black church did the same thing, right? Black church did the same thing. Like, don't make it a racial thing. You got to realize that you're both two parts of the same bird. The system is the system. The bird is the bird. The beast is the beast. I don't care if it's the fit. If it's attached to the same beast, it's the same beast, right? Obama was doing all this against your belief system. Come on, somebody. When Obama's against your belief system, somebody had preached what Obama spoke, y'all would want them to be kicked out of your church, out of your edifice, out of your organization, out of your 501c3. But because y'all had put so much support behind evil, when he would do those things, what would you say? What would you hear people in church say? When people would say, well, he's doing this, you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. What would y'all say? Thank you for the love. Guess what y'all would say all the time, right? And maybe not y'all. If the shoe fits weird, if it doesn't take it off. Guess what people would say, though, from our diaspora who swear up and down. Some of these people who can go to church today and talk so poorly about Trump and talk so poorly about Biden, even though Biden is basically trying to do the same thing that Obama did. He just doesn't have what y'all call charisma. They say exactly. They would say he has no choice. He has no choice. He's not the president of our beliefs. He's the president of everybody. But he doesn't represent everybody. He represents who? He wasn't going to be president for you. He was going to be president for whoever paid the most money, the lobbyists who paid the most money. Who paid the most money to get him to become the president? Twice. Who paid the most money to make sure that Obama won twice? The beast, the system already wanted him to be there, right? But who was going to pay money to make sure that what the system wanted to happen was going to happen? Who was going to put the sweat equity into it? Who paid the most money? Who were the lobbyists that won? Who got the most legislation passed? Think about it now. This is not to talk evil of them. This is just to tell you how the system works. It was LGBTQ plus. So if you pay the most money, you get the most legislation. With Trump, who paid the most money? Who paid the most money with Trump? Alt-right evangelicals. So everything you were going to get was going to be alt-right evangelical. That's why he's still running on the same thing, because they're the only ones still sewing into it. Before, it was a little tricky because some people were like, well, maybe we need an outsider. Maybe we need this. Maybe they dressed it up. Now you know clearly what he is. And so he doesn't get the same thing. So he might not get the most money. But whoever gets the most money, they win it. This is a corporation. United States is not a country. It's a corporation. 28 USC 3002 15A. It's a country. It's not a country. It's a corporation. United States Code, or 28 United States Code 3002 15B says that it's not even always a country. Sometimes it's just a board. Right? And 28 United States Code 3002 15C tells you that it's a negotiable instrument. It can be used to pay for things. You said Israel paid for both. Israel paid some for sure, but the United States bows down to Israel because the modern Israelites, what people call Israelites now, you're dealing with the Rothschild family. See, a lot of those people, once again, they're not even trained correctly. They're trained over there. People don't know this. Talk to them. They think when we say Tanakh or Torah, they think we're talking about the Talmud because that's what they're taught over there. And they go off of the Talmud because the Talmud represents the red star, or represents the child of the beast, or the Rothschild family. It's a different mentality. It's a different thought process. You said our currency in the kingdom is different. Those who see Yahweh and obey his laws. Yeah, and it goes back to currency. Currency is something that's agreed upon, y'all. Currency is something that's agreed upon. You said Cabal, not all of them, but the unaware. Well, Cabal is something that's a newer form of it. So yeah, so Cabal goes with Talmud, but Cabal is basically Babylonian. It's a Babylonian Talmud. So if you deal with somebody who's Talmudic, you're dealing with somebody who's mixing Babylon in with Israelite principles. Same thing like Christianity. Christianity is somebody who's mixing in Greco-Roman things with biblical principles. He's always talking about the Constitution as if it pertains to us. Well, yeah, well, depending on how you use it. But he never told you that the Constitution, like when Obama says we the people, he's talking about a nation. But we the people, right, in 1776 has nothing to do with you because you weren't considered to be part of the nation. People means nation, right? Yeah, ignorance of these laws by the Most High is the downfall. That's the curse, really. If you want to really get to it, when you disobey law, it brings a curse of ignorance. The curse of ignorance causes all this stuff. If we can make it, that's a great way to even put it, Minister Tamara. If we can focus on that, like our curse is really a curse of ignorance. We are ignorant of so many different things that we keep attaching ourselves to things that cause death. We're sinning. Sinning means anything that's causing us to miss the mark. That's why we did that whole series for 40 days. We came on here and did what? We removed the leaven from our home. What does leaven represent? In the context, it represents sin. Sin is anything causing us to miss the mark. And then after that, we did Passover, right? That was 2 weeks after the New Year, right? After Raishan. Right after that, Shan Shalom, 2 weeks later, we actually had Pasach or Passover. After that, then we had 8 days of still being without leaven, without sin, right? So that we could prepare ourselves to think differently, to eat differently, to walk differently, to eat spiritually different things, to be able to separate and have contextual things that move, right? But people today are about to go to service. You're about to go to church. You're about to go in the building. Some of these people are about to go in there, and you're about to be part of the same Talmudic principles, but you're going to do everything you can to be able to make cognitive dissonance still reign in your brain. You're going to do everything you can. You're still going to go to Christmas this year because even though you know that it's a Saturnalia, you know that you're making an idol out of a tree, you know that you're not supposed to do those things according to Jeremiah chapter 10 verses 1-5. You're still going to try to push your way in and find a way to make it work. Why are you going to try to do so? You're going to try to do that because in your mind, hey, this is fat. You're going to do every excuse you can so that you don't feel uncomfortable in this, right? You're going to do everything you can to, even though you know the proper interpretation, you're still going to misinterpret. At this point, this is willful sin we're dealing with, right? You know, Thanksgiving, according to even Eurocentric culture, right? When they wrote the Bible in 1611, Thanksgiving doesn't even mean to give thanks. Thanksgiving means to fast, which means that when they talked about Thanksgiving in colonies, they talked about fasting. So when they talk about the meal that happened with the natives, even if you believe that meal to be exactly what they try to tell you it was, which is not, but even if you believe that, that was not Thanksgiving, that was fasting. Or that was something else besides fasting. Thanksgiving, right? So when you read a 1611 King James Version, whenever you see give thanks is different than Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving always means to fast. To give thanks means to be thankful. Enter his courts with thanksgiving. You think that means to be grateful. Yes, but it's saying, hey, if you come enter into his gates. If you come into the gates of a community, if you come into the gates of a city, you have to be checked. We have to see what weapons you have. There might be certain things you're not allowed to bring in depending on what we're going through right now as a city. So you might have to enter in with thanksgiving. Fast from your sword. Leave your sword at the door. Leave your beast at the door. Leave your money at the door. Leave your concubines at the door. Leave whatever. You're not allowed. We have a decree from the king that says that when you come in right now, there's certain things you must fast from. You said the laws of this world government don't protect the rights of the citizens of Yahweh's kingdom. Yeah, but which, by the way, They do in a sense if you know how to use the law, because the laws of the land have to bow down to the laws of the Most High. Because even when you look at their laws say that the Most High, or what they call God, right? You have to determine who your God is. That's why you need to be sovereign. But they'll even say God comes first. Right? Those of you who were in Illinois and Chicago and y'all were worried, I'm gonna have to get the shot and this and that. We told y'all, hang in there, don't get the shot. No, they did. Look, we'll write you the letter. Just hang in there. No, look. It's only a matter of time. This is not going to be. It's not legal what they're doing. No. They want to give us a shot. They're going to give us a shot. They're going to give us a shot. No. This is legal. No, they're going to give us a shot. They're going to give us a shot. I got to get the shot. It's the only way I'm going to be able to take care of my family. Guess what? In Chicago, they came up with legislation recently where it says that, hey, if you over there and they force you to get the shot, not only did you not have to get it, but they're going to go ahead. They have to reimburse you, and they'll probably give you your job back. Hang in there. Have faith. This is what we were saying the whole time. Where's your faith? Faith without works is dead. I got faith, but I won't work it. We were telling people, hang in there. And now all around the country, people started to be like, yeah, we didn't do that right. We got too many lawsuits now. People stood up for what they believed in. The system is sus. And it's something sus at some point when you keep bringing up with sus, you're going to win. Why? Because you have to have character. People didn't change. People that didn't give in. People that didn't fall. People that didn't fold. It's going to get difficult. I don't know what this thing going to look like when they try to get y'all to sign up for this fake cash and they start getting rid of cash and they say everybody at some point going to have to go through exactly what we say you have to pay. I don't know what that's going to look like. Right? But I'm going to keep working this. I don't know if you'll see me every day. Prayerfully by then you'll see me every day in person, so it won't matter as much. I mean, we still need to get the truth out there, right? But I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm telling you right now, though, right? Don't stop working. Don't settle for faith alone, because that's death. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? Like, the wages of sin is death. It's sinful to stop working. You guys got faith alone. Do you know that before faith, see, we got to have character. You got to be strong, right? I told you this before. I told you this to open up. People might not like it, but it is what it is. I know that I'm dangerous. I know that I'm dangerous because I've grown in my gift and I have character with my gift. When my character showed up with my gift, my character showed up with my faith, when my character showed up with my spirit, I became a dangerous man. I became extremely dangerous because I have character. A lot of people break because they have no character. I didn't say I don't make mistakes. I didn't say that I don't want to throw in the towel sometimes. I said I have character. My character is too strong. When I want to give up, when I want to stop, I can't because I have character. I've developed character. If the word of Yah says that wherever my foot treads, it shall be mine, that's character. If the word of Yah says, if I speak his word, not one word that I speak shall fall to the ground, that's character. If the word of Yah says that in order to be able to make sure that I'm married to the Most High, I must also have reflection in being married to my wife, then that's character. Right? You can believe what I say about marriage because you can believe my words. Why? Because you can believe my works. So you can have faith in them. Your faith without me having works doesn't merely equate to much. Can I show you what marriage is in my life? Can my wife attest to these things? Can you have a personal conversation and ask her, hey, what are some of the things Kofi does, this, that, whatever? When you see her, does she look like she's taken care of? Does she look like somebody to where she can chill out some? Even if she's not always, in the places where I even want her to be at all times. Is she always set apart? Is she always consecrated? Do you hear me speaking negative about her? Of course not. If you don't see those things, you can have faith in my words because my works always match up. You can have faith in my word because my works match up. But we don't like character. You're built for that. Every word that I speak, if it be of Elohim, it cannot fail. Why? Because Elohim cannot fail. Do you believe that Yahweh Elohim can fail? See, this is the problem. We got to have, let's see, Come on, Israel. Come on in. Come on in, right? I know there aren't as many of us on, but we're going to treat this the same way we always do. Come on in. Come on in, fam. Right? Let's have some honest conversation. You ready? Come on in. Let's, like, I know you got different stuff you're doing if you're traveling, stuff like that, but if you can focus for a bit. I know we're going to lose some focus. They're getting ready to go into the Turkey and do all that stuff or whatever. But hang with me for a second. Can the Most High fail? Can the Most High fail? Can the Most High fail? I'm asking you direct. Can the Most High fail? Is it possible for the Most High to fail? Can he lie? Can he say you are going to win and you will not win? We're talking character. It can do all things work together? Do all things work together? Or do the things that you think will work together? We gotta stop dealing with this the wrong way, right? Should we eat part of the scroll or should we eat the whole scroll? See, this is what's wrong with you. And for those who are not doing this, I'm sorry, right? Hopefully you'll get it. Shoe fits weird if it don't take it off, right? This is what's wrong with many. Many want a piece of this and don't want to live the whole thing. You want to pray, but don't want to stop living double-minded. That's what. Read James chapter 1, verse 5 through 8 instead of just James chapter 1, verse 8. Read the whole thing or read some more of it. Get some context. Eat the whole scroll, Revelation chapter 10. Learn who you really are, Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, Revelation chapter 3, verse 7 through 9. Be willing to know that you are going to have to be sealed first. So you better get yourself in line, Israel. Revelation chapter 7. Stop living cursed when the curse was never for you in the first place. Ham wasn't cursed. Africa wasn't cursed. A tribe was cursed, and they were cursed specifically to make sure that they had to serve and eventually become one with Israel anyways. Which means that stop talking about Africa is different than or Ham is different than Shem, when Shem and Ham are married into each other so much anyways that it don't matter the way that you think it does. Right? You gotta stop, you gotta have some character. Can y'all fail? Can his word fail? If he called you, watch this, brother. I know sometimes it's difficult being a husband. I know it's difficult being a man. I know it's difficult being a son. I know it's difficult being an example. I know it's difficult being different than all the other men out here. I know that it is, brother. I know it is, brother. But you ready for this, bro? I want to let you know this. And I mean this out of love, right? And Minister Joseph and Minister Shran yesterday, they told us you built for this, right? But I want to tell you this, brother, and all the things that are there, if you called to being a husband, you better not ever stop being a husband. You didn't start being a husband because you got married. You were already a husband. You were already a husband qualified because your husband is the Most High. There ain't no such thing as you can't do this. I mean this in love. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard. And if you need help with it, hey, holler at your boy. Holler in the chat line. Get with some of the brothers that are around you. But I didn't say it's always going to be easy. I didn't say that your wife was always going to act right. I didn't say that your children going to always act right. I didn't say your job situation will always be right. I'm just here to tell you, if you're called to be a husband, ain't no such thing as you can fail, because you weren't called to be a husband by me. You weren't called to be a husband by your wife. You were called to be a husband by the Most High. Before the foundations of the world existed, it was already decreed and declared that you would be a husband. I know it's difficult, bro, but be strong and be courageous. Be strong and show yourself a man. This is scripture. Sometimes it's that simple. It's not simple, but it is. It's going to be some tears, but keep hanging in there. She's going to say something that's going to mess you up. Hang in there. Still give her a hug. Still give her some love. Still give her attention. Still honor. It's hard sometimes. Simplify it. If I'm called to it, then everything that I do concerning it, it must work out. Sisters, I know it's hard. You out here having to do a man's job, right? You hearing a man sing, this is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. But you got to take care of the man. You got to take care of the boy. You got to be independent, but you want to be secure, all these different things. Everybody's got movements, but none of them seem to help you. They want you to be a trophy wife, but they don't want to work and win the game for the trophy. They want the trophy in the case, but they don't want to play the game right. They don't want to follow the rules. I get it. There's a lot going on. It's difficult to deal with. I get it. I really don't even get it. I can't understand it. I can't really comprehend it. I can empathize as best I can. Heavy burden. But you were called to do this before the foundation of the world. If y'all can't fail, everything you do that he's shown you to do as a wife, if your husband, your real husband, y'all can't fail, then anything you do that is in him cannot fail. That baby you worried about, what's going to happen if the system get their hands on them? Can't fail. You gotta work this thing now. Don't say you have faith. Don't have faith in something that you don't work. Work this thing, sis. Your husband can't even multiply. You're the only thing that came out of your husband. And the only reason you were brought out of him is because it wasn't great that he would be all in one, all alone. So every time that he put his head up high and he think that he can do this without you because he can do this and be all in one, he can't do this without you because he can't multiply nothing. You are extremely, extremely important. Our community doesn't multiply without you. How you think we became a nation? You think we just became a nation because some people, I'm not going to say what I was going to say because we got babies that's watching, but you think the seed just fell into the seed of the man fell into the earth and all of a sudden it came up? No, you were the earth. You're the soil. You are our mothers. This is why your husbands do get jealous. This is why the Most High, your husband, gets jealous. And I get it. We caused you to go looking for other cultures, looking for other brothers, looking for other husbands, looking for other people who would show you something that we should have been giving you. And they can't even give you on the level we can give you, but hey, at least they give you something. But that's why we got to start training up these children, even these 50-year-old, what you think are men, they 50-year-old boys. We got to start training these children in the way that they should go. So when they get old, they won't depart from it. They can't see. Watch this. You can't depart from something that you never had. You can't depart from a destination that you've never been to. Make it make sense. You hear what I'm saying? We don't have this together. When they grow old, they won't depart from it. How do you depart from a place you've never been? Some of us have never seen ourselves. You've never seen your character. This is why we got to develop this. Some of you have never seen your character. You don't know what you look like. You've never gone through salvation, the salvaging process. TION makes it a person, place, a thing. You are going through a place of salvaging, bringing back to your original intent something you've never seen as a person, places you've never been to, and things you've never done. You are in a salvaging process, and when you complete it, it's called salvation. So work out your own salvation with fear. That means respect of the process and trembling. You should even be a little afraid, and I get it. It's a little fear. It's you. Some of you are afraid because what if you ever became what you were supposed to be? If you became what you were supposed to be and were in truth, see, people don't dislike truth because of the fact that truth brings people together. People dislike truth because truth separates. Hallelujah. People don't like truth because truth separates. Do you hear what I'm saying? People don't like the truth because truth separates. So if you ever become who you truly are supposed to be, people got to leave. And it's tough, but this is when character pops in. Y'all say it all the time, for Yah I live, and for Yah I die. It's time, man. The rubber meeting the road. You know money's not real. Now the government tell you money's not real. They're saying we're going to trap you in something. We told you to not get into crypto. Now we're going to tell you still don't get crypto, but use our crypto. And we told you for years how bad it was. We tried to make it look bad. We tried to get everybody to sell it. We tried to demean it. Now you have nothing that's decentralized. And now you're not going to have anything. In a few years, they're going to get rid of fiat cash altogether. They already, when you go to the store, there's certain stores where they say, hey, if you ain't got exact change, don't come up in here because we ain't giving you nothing back. They already got a lot of registers at the stores you go to where they like, we take money at these two, all the rest of them, y'all need to go ahead and just pay with a credit card, with crypto currency. It's coming to a place to where now you're going to have to make a decision. Do I want the mark or do I not? Do I want the mark or do I not? Am I willing to be beheaded because I don't take the mark? I could take the mark and live, but then I would be separated from the Most High. It's coming to a place. It's coming to a place where, look, are they going to be, I'm telling you, people don't want to hear this. Once again, we're not looking at this a recession. We're not looking at a depression. You're about to see the dollar collapse. It already has. That's the real, like, let me give you real game. The dollar has already collapsed. It's been collapsed since they took gold away from it. When there was no gold or silver to back it up, money was done. And when Richard Nixon put his last staple on it, right, that's why they killed JFK. They killed JFK because he was going to go ahead and make sure that he got rid of that. Federal Reserve was going to have no power, and you were going to have actual money for the first time in quite some time. Because he said he looked up law, and he said, I found out. Now, he was doing it because his family was going to try and take over too, the Kennedy Mom family, right? But he basically was like, yo, we see that your family, or what was it? Yeah. So basically, he was like, we see that y'all family, right? Rothschild family. We see that y'all family, the people over Federal Reserve. We see that y'all family, the Ashkenazi. We see like y'all are doing this stuff, and y'all ain't got no right to do this stuff. So y'all ain't gonna bully us. We have laws written already, and in our law books it says that, hey, we ain't gotta do no business with y'all, especially if there's no gold or silver back it up. And technically, we're not supposed to have anybody telling us what to do with our money or when to print it up. He said, we out. He said, we done with y'all. Next thing you know, he ride in the car. Go look at the video in slow motion. Secret Service, 2 Secret Servicemen in the front, JFK on the right, his wife on the back. His wife already knew it was up. She was already done with him because he was cheating and making her look bad and looking to look crazy. And Marilyn Monroe up there singing, talking about happy birthday, Mr. President, right? She was already done with him. And here he is in the back. She already been told what's about to happen. Here's the Secret Serviceman, the one that's driving. And you see, all of a sudden, he's driving. He starts driving with one hand, reaching his coat. You see his hand go like this. Bam. JFK's whole head goes back. Pocket back in the coat. The other Secret Serviceman, instead of looking at the president, this is the giveaway. Instead of looking at the president, what does he start doing? He's looking up front. Now, the wife, she gave it away. Because when she heard the sound, she jumped away this way. She jumped away this way. She didn't just jump away from her husband. Look at it. She jumps away from the sound and from the gun, because even though she knew it was going to happen, it's different when you see shooting happen. She might have thought something was going to happen to me. So she moves away from the gunshot. And then she goes, oh, yeah. And then she goes towards JFK. Did she have some feelings for him? Probably. You know, I'm not here to say all that, but I'm saying go look. And by the way, this is not something I'm making up. This is stuff that they had to release. It was on YouTube for a while. You got to look real hard for it now. But they actually had that was the first time I saw it was on YouTube. This is like maybe like 10 years ago, 10, maybe 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. I was like, wait a minute, what? They zoomed in. And then you look up all the stuff that happened on this autopsy and the magic bullet and study that, you'll discover that like it doesn't make sense. This thing was something that they were coming against him. They took a president out in front of your eyes because he wasn't going to deal with their currency. Right? And he's in the world, but he still had enough sense. I ain't dealing with that. He's not even trying to do what we do, but he was like, hey, I ain't doing that. Died. Now I'm not saying I'm not trying to speak death over you. I'm not trying to get you to be afraid. I'm not trying to say do what Kofi says or do what the Bible says, or else you're gonna die. I'm just here to tell you though. I'm just here to tell you. Yes, the rapture, what y'all think of the rapture at least, right? Like it's not gonna happen exactly what people think. But there being a rapture of some people that will be here and this and that or whatever, yeah, sure. But guess what? Some of y'all gonna still have to be here and have to make a decision. Am I gonna fall for the stuff of the beast? Or am I gonna say, you know what? Like, for y'all live, for y'all die, take my head. I'd rather you take my head than you engrave the mark on it that takes me back to Neven Kassar. You're gonna have to make a decision. Choose you this day. I'm on, Minister, and I said, how you doing? Right? Right? But if Yah has not ever been defeated, if he's never, once again, I got to come back to your faith and the works. Let's put Yah's works on trial here. Yah ever started a work in you that has not been completed yet? Talk back to me, family. Right? We talking about your soul. We talking facts. Has Yah ever started a work in you? How you doing, Austin? Has Yah ever started a work in you that has not been completed? Or has he ever started works? Has Yah ever talked to you, him, and he about to happen? When he spoke back to you and told you this is exactly what's about to happen. Has he ever failed you? If he hasn't failed, then you got to know, even if somebody says, I'm going to take your head, your response should be what Hananiah Asadaiah said, or who we call, because we think of them as Babylonian, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You should do what they said. You should say, this is what they said when that was presented to them. They said, look, you have the power to throw us into the fire. And it might be hot, right? You might be able to go ahead, right? You got the power to do this. You really do. They said, but even if you even if you throw us in there, we believe that Yah can save us. That's what they said. We believe that Yah will save us. They said, however, even if he doesn't, we will not bow down. We don't deny that you got power, Nebuchadnezzar. You can end our lives. But the same Yah that interpreted your dream, that who you bowed down to and said there was nobody on his level, he got more power than you already. See, y'all forget those two things go together. Daniel chapter 2 is when Hananiah, Ananiah, Azariah, Danaal, or Daniel, come together and pray, and then Daniel's able to go ahead and tell Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation of the dream and tell him what the dream was. So they said, look, we already know that you were about to kill everybody because you can't figure stuff out anyways. But Yah went ahead and saved us because we prayed. And when we prayed to him, you bowed down already. See, people miss that in the story. We don't like to keep things in context. They say, well, you already had to bow down already because of us praying to Yahweh. See, you missed that. You got to put this in context. They said, we already seen him do this. We already saw you bow down to him. We already saw you were talking about killing us. We already saw that you was trying to get the OG Daniel. We already saw that you captured us and you think that you all that, but you had to bow down to our Elohim, even though you think that you're a God yourself. You think you're a deity yourself. You think you're a deist yourself. We already seen this, Nebuchadnezzar. They said, so if you throw us into the fire, Yah's already saved us. But they said, just in case he doesn't save us, we want you to know that just in case you throw us in there and we don't come out, we want you to know that we going in there still believing. Come on, somebody. They said you might throw us in there, but we're going in there. We want you to know we're going in there. When you throw us in there, we want you to know we still believe that it's better to die for him. And it gets scary when you talk like this. But see, people who are willing to die for him, you are free. A man or woman that's willing to die for what they believe in, how do you capture them? How do you capture the person that's willing to die for what they believe in? See, we got this thing twisted. They've never been concerned about capturing your body, right? They even say in the Willie Lynch letter, we want to keep the body, but they said this is what we take. We take the mind. They've never been worried about your body being free. They've always really been worried about your mind being free. A lot of people walking around now with a free body and a jacked up mind. You hear what I'm saying? A lot of people walking around with functional bodies and jacked up spirits. A lot of people walking around with jacked up bodies, right? But great spirits. The freedom starts in the spirit. The revolution starts in the spirit of the people. Haiti had a spiritual revolution before they had the physical revolution. Look it up. Ghana had a spiritual revolution before they had the physical revolution. Look it up. South Africa had a spiritual revolution before they had the physical revolution. Look it up. Believe it or not, even though we might not agree with what it was, France had a spiritual revolution before they had a physical revolution. Look it up. They realized that these people up here that are in high powers, including even the clergy, and the king that's supposed to be chosen by God and all that ain't God. That's what happened. Spiritual revolution. You got to have a spiritual revolution, and then you got to be willing to what? You got to be willing to work your faith. Your faith is important, but then your works got to come. Woman, great is your faith. Y'all think great is your faith because of what she spoke. But a Samaritan woman was willing to go ahead and in her action, she was willing to go ahead and be hated by all these people because she came on behalf of her daughter. I ain't leaving here unless you heal my daughter. It's not meat for me to give. It's not acceptable for me to give meat to the dogs. But even the dogs eat from the crumbs of the master's table. Woman, great is your faith. Why? Because you worked that thing. I, on purpose, was trying to do everything I could to see if you would leave here. I tested you. I tested you. I tried you by the fire. I tried you by the spirit. I tried to see if you were a diamond. I heard something the other day. This thing really blessed me. I don't know where I heard this from, on something going down some rabbit hole yesterday, in all honesty. It's really blessed me, right? I don't 100% agree with this, the categorization or the picture that this gives or whatever, but it's really blessed me though. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Some of y'all probably heard this. I'm gonna just be obedient to the spirit, right? Because the context of what it gave, I like. I don't know if it's factual, so I'm gonna give some facts with it too, right? A diamond is a diamond no matter where it is. Right, we're gonna get ready to take our leave in a little bit because my battery's about to be done. Right, but just hang in there just for a few more minutes. A diamond is a diamond no matter where it is. But some people only like diamonds when they shine in the sun. But a diamond is a diamond. So depending on where you are and who you're dealing with is depending on if somebody sees your value. You need to know intrinsically, you need to know no matter what, that you are always a diamond. I need you to know that. You need to know that. You are a diamond. You hear what I'm telling you? You are a diamond, no matter what. I need you to know you are a diamond. You hear what I'm saying? You are a diamond. And just because you haven't been brought to light doesn't mean that somebody doesn't know your value. Somebody's willing to dig and dig you out. Y'all, somebody missing it. You are a diamond. Somebody's coming and they ready to dig where others won't dig. There's somebody out there that will wear you because somebody shines you up. There's somebody that's willing to wear you because somebody digged you out. There's somebody that's willing to wear you because somebody cleaned you up. There's somebody willing to wear you because you had pressure put on you and you made it through. There's somebody willing to wear you now, but they wouldn't touch you when you were cold, right? There's somebody who's willing to wear you now, but they wouldn't go to the dark, deep, richest places to get you. But see, you were a diamond the whole time. Don't get excited about the people that will wear you because you've been brought to the light. Be excited about the people that will dig. for you. That's character. You see that? Just because I'm in the light now doesn't mean my character was not a diamond. See, this is why I love my wife so much. I tell you this all the time. My wife would speak the words of encouragement into me that now people see because I'm being brought to light. When I was barely making it off the street and just coming off the street and in transitional housing, she was already telling me I see greatness in you. She was already looking at the mission that she was going to submit to, because she didn't really even fully comprehend it yet. But she said, whatever this is, I'm willing to roll with it because I can see it. I can see the vision, right? I can see the mission. And if you'll stay submitted to the mission, I'll stay submitted not to you, because I'm not submitted to the man. It's not submission, but I'm submitted to the mission. If you always showing up with mission, I got you, Kofi. I got you, Kofi. Like, even if we angry, even if we're upset, hey, I'll be upset. But if it's time to do this, hey, I'm mission oriented. I got you, Kofi. I got you, Kofi. Even when you ain't acting right, as long as you get back to the mission and repent, I got you, Kofi. I got you, Kofi. Right? That's what happened over and over and over again. See, she saw a diamond and it wasn't in the light yet. Now everybody want to wear the diamond when it's in the light. Everybody loves the diamond when it's in the light. Everybody loves the diamond when it's shining. Everybody loves the diamond when it gets in the grill. Everybody loves the diamond when it's on the ring. But somebody was willing to dig for that thing. And you know what's wild about this is why character is necessary. The person who digs a diamond can't afford the diamond. That's wild. You would think that the people who dig for the diamond should at least get to keep some of them. But see, we're so messed up with interpretation of how humanity should work that we don't even look to make sure that people who dig up diamonds get to keep them. Matter of fact, people, watch this. Wives, right? You are diamonds. Why would you, if somebody's willing to dig through and do all this stuff and go with you and this and that, why would you leave that? I'm not talking about somebody who's just a man. I'm talking about husbands, right? I'm not saying all of y'all, but it was always astounding to me, still is. So when you have all these brothers and sisters who are in college or in high school or junior high or whatever, and you see these guys who are carrying books, who are loving on these girls, who are telling them how beautiful they are, who are willing to go to the ends of the earth, who will spend their last penny on them, who will make sure that they give them rides, who will make sure that they defend their honor and all that stuff, and they get brushed to the side. They lift them up as diamonds and they dig them out, and they're there to let them cry on their shoulder and do all this stuff, and they're respectful and they ain't trying to lay down with them, and they're trying, and you'll see all this stuff, but they won't lay. But then all of a sudden some guy comes and he wears a three-piece suit, and now that you finally have been able to make it to the light, now you want to get a three-piece suit more time than the person that was with you when you was supposedly in the mud. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it don't, take it off. I might be talking about you, I might not be talking about you. Right? But I'm just trying to get you, how you doing, Sister Aliens? I'm just trying to get you to see. Like the Most High, He dug you out. He loved you when nobody cared about you. He loved you while you were going through the pressure. He loved you when you went through the fire, to be tested, to be tried by fire, to see if you were worthy of what it is that you say you are. He loved you. He esteemed you. He lifted you up. And we get to a place to where now you're gonna make a little bit of money. Now somebody gonna let you preach. Now somebody gonna say you can start your business, and now you ain't got time for it. Amen, Sherry. Come on, let's get it. Serving it up. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Right? Like, it's time for you to go ahead. Become who you were supposed to become. Be who you were supposed to be. Do what you were supposed to do. Operate in what you're supposed to operate in. You called to be greater than where you are. And when you get there, don't forget who dug you out. You're a diamond now. Just because you're not on somebody's finger don't mean you're not a diamond. Right? You're a diamond now. You're a diamond now. Just because you're not making $5 million a year yet doesn't mean you're a diamond. Don't wait. See, a lot of people keep talking about when I get there. Don't be the big fish in the small pond. When you get to this level, now leave this room. You know what that is? That's excuses to leave those that were with you. Right? Now, I'm not saying everybody's ready to be with you, but see, you got to recognize those who see you're a diamond. There's some people who are not trained to look for diamonds because they'll only look. The person who's untrained to look for a diamond, if I take you to a diamond mine, you'll start looking for things that are shiny. You know, the person who's untrained, if we're looking for diamonds to mine, you're looking. If you start looking for things that are shiny, if you're looking for a finished product, you're not gonna find it. You're not gonna get it. Right? If you come and looking for a finished product, you are already a diamond. If you're already a diamond, then you need to recognize who you are. Just because I'm not finished yet, just because you can't wear me yet, just because I'm not acceptable in this room or that room, just because I do not speak your language or speak this or speak that or whatever, just because you forgot who you were, doesn't mean that I'm not acceptable to the Most High. This is when you become dangerous. You hear me, Asla? This is when you become dangerous. This is when you become dangerous. Right? I become dangerous because I know I'm a diamond. Give me a room full of 5 million, I'm a diamond. Give me a corner on the street, I'm a diamond. Give me everybody in agreement, I'm a diamond. Give me everybody that hates what I'm saying, I'm a diamond. Give me in between, I'm a diamond. Amen, Brother Keith. You a diamond. You a dime piece. You a diamond. Everybody trying to be dime pieces, you on 100. Give me extra weight, I'm a diamond. Give me stretch marks, I'm a diamond. Give me 17 million in the bank right now, I'm a diamond. Have me on the street having to humble myself and ask people for food, I'm a diamond. Right? You got to know, just because you're clouded doesn't mean you're not a diamond. It just means you got to be cleaned up a little bit. Just because nobody cuts you yet, you know, that's part of the process too. Once they put pressure on you, once they burn you, then they got to cut you. Diamonds don't come in those cuts that y'all like. They don't come like that in the ground. Somebody got to cut that diamond. And a lot of y'all won't even wear it until it's been cut. Come on, somebody. I need you to see. See, before you cut me into position, to cut is to pare it, P-A-R-E. So when you preparing me, when you're cutting me for it, I still have to realize that means that I'm already valuable. You wouldn't be cutting me unless at some point I'm supposed to be worn. Oh, come on, somebody. See, you said you waiting to be warned. You're talking about when I get there, when everybody agrees, when I get the opportunity, when I get the viewers, when I get the money, when I get this, when I get that. I'm going to finally start doing right when I get it. I promise y'all. I'm just waiting for it to get right. Start doing righteous now. Stop waiting until it gets okay to do right. Start being righteous right now. Diamonds don't come down, right? Right? People who sell diamonds are not selling diamonds based upon what you think the price should be. Right? You go into a diamond store, you either afford it or you can't. I have an intrinsic value. I have a value that existed before the foundation of this world. My value is on a whole nother level. You can say whatever you want. My value is on a whole nother level. I do this, and I do this well. I had to start reminding myself. As I said on a podcast not too long ago, I think it was not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, I must have forgot who I was. Ain't nobody me. You know how valuable I am? You hear what I'm saying? Do you know how valuable I am? You got to talk to yourself like that. You got to look in the mirror. Do you know how valuable I am? You got to remind yourself. Ain't nobody watching. Do you know how valuable you are? Like, do you know the diamond that you are? Do you know how valuable you are as a community? If you ever came together, see, this is where you got to become a people, a nation. If you ever came together, what would happen to the world? Come on, my brother. Come on, my sister. If you ever decided to be a nation, what would happen to the entire planet? If you ever made sure that you were great in your gifting, right? Because the gifts come without repentance. But what if you had the gifting with the repentance? If you repented and turned away from your wicked ways and started doing righteousness at all times as a nation, what would happen to the world? All it took was Enoch. Go read about Enoch. All it took for Enoch was to be faithful. And when Enoch was faithful, it said at one point the entire world, we're so used to the world being in chaos. At Enoch's day, He lived to see a day where the entire planet, everybody worshiped the Most High. All kings listened to Enoch because he separated himself. And that's how he pleased the Most High. He separated himself and learned and learned and learned and preached it, and then separated himself again and learned and preached it and separated himself. He didn't join in. He separated himself. And by separating himself, he was worthy of teaching those. Because how can you teach everybody how to come out of a system if you're attached to it? So just because he had to seclude himself didn't mean he wasn't a diamond. And when he came out in the public, they saw the shine. But they didn't realize Enoch had been growing all the time in the dark, or what they would call the dark. They didn't recognize the shine that was on him. He had a shine on his life. But they didn't realize the shine was something that the only reason they saw the shine was because it was brought to the sun. When he was nowhere to be found, he was still shining. Do you see that? You see what I'm saying? There's a shine on your life. And you're waiting for everybody else to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting for England to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting for Scotland to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting for Jamaica and the Bahamas to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting on New York to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting on California to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting on your family member to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting on your children to say, I agree with the shine. You're waiting on your parents to say, I agree with the shine. Dare I say, some of you are waiting on your spouse. But whether they agree with the shine or not, it doesn't mean that you can't shine. Just because the sun ain't up yet doesn't mean you can't shine. You're still a diamond. You hear what I'm saying? Have character. Diamonds have certain characteristics. Whether they're in the sun or not, they carry certain characteristics. You hear what I'm saying? Diamonds carry certain characteristics. A diamond can't even speak. There's some things that are going on in your life that are happening that you can't even begin to describe verbally. But you don't need to describe it. Just be a diamond. Your time to shine is coming. See, because when you shine, your shine speaks for you. Woo! That's a bar right there. Right? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Right? When you have a shine, when you have a certain shine, right, the shine gonna speak for you. Amen. Just because you don't see me glisten don't mean I'm not shining, right? Just because I haven't been taken out of the mind yet, and I haven't gone through the pressure yet, and I haven't been put through the fire yet, and I haven't been cleansed yet, and I haven't been cut yet, it doesn't mean that you don't want me. Just because you ain't seen me don't mean you don't want me. Oh, that's a word right there. Let me go ahead. That's a word. The Most High needs some of y'all to hear that. Just because you ain't seen me yet don't mean that you don't want me. I promise. The Most High says, I promise you that just because you ain't seen me doesn't mean you don't want me. Just because you don't know me yet doesn't mean you don't want me. Just because you learning about me for the first time doesn't mean you don't want me. Y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't want to hear that. See, but you also got to know that about yourself. Just because they ain't seen you yet. Watch this. You ain't seen you yet. You ain't seen you yet. I know that ain't great English. However, it is articulated in the manner in which you should be able to get everything out of it, that it's a nutrients that will be able to help you in your spiritual endeavors. You ain't seen you yet, right? Just because you ain't seen you yet doesn't mean that you ain't that you don't want you. And there's somebody out there, because you haven't seen your true self, you don't think you want you. You don't think that you're needed. You don't think that you're really truly loved. You don't think that you can really cause difference. You don't really think that you can do this. You don't really think that you're necessary to multiply. You don't really think that you can cover things. You don't really think that you can make people secure. You don't really believe that the same Yah who loved Moses loves you. You don't really believe that the same Yah who watched over Enoch and made sure he was translated will not make sure he covers you so that you don't have to experience certain deaths in your life. You don't believe that the same Yahushua who is sitting up there in heavenly places, who's your advocate, will also simultaneously make you his fellow heir. But I'm here to tell you that if you would stop thinking of yourself as, hey, I haven't seen the shine yet, I promise you, you've always been a diamond. But now it's time to start mining you. I'm here to mine. I'm not here to shine. I'm here to mine. I came down here. I got the light on here so I can see you. And you might not even see me for who I am. That's okay. I'm not worried about you seeing me for who I am right now. At some point when you become greater, you'll see me too. But right now, I've come looking for you, and you've been going through dirt. You've been going through confusion. You're in a place where it's hard to breathe down here. I don't even know how you survive down here. I don't even know how the minerals and stuff are working in the way that they do, and how you're growing and stuff over time. I know you're on periodic table, but I don't even know how you work. But I came down here because I know that you must be mine. I know that your ultimate destination is not to only be here, but at some point your destination is to be shown the light. And once you get into the light, once you're shown the light, see, here's the blessing. When you're shown the light, you must shine, because you're not just designed to look at light, you're designed to shine it. And here's something else that you might not know about yourself. But do you know that when we look through the prism, when we look through your prism, when we look through you as a diamond, do you not know that we can see a rainbow that comes out of you? And the rainbow, as the children you learned yesterday, is what? The rainbow is a promise. Come on, somebody. The rainbow is a promise. That's what a rainbow is. The rainbow is a promise. Come on, somebody. The rainbow is a promise. And what is the promise? The promise is that I will never allow the rains, the heavy rains, the things from the heavens, the things that are too heavy, the things that could wipe out a planet. I will never allow those things to take you out. When the light shines on you, a promise shows up that says, I will never allow you to be taken out. Come on, somebody. That wasn't even where we were supposed to go. Praise God for the Holy Spirit. We thank you so much. We give honor to the Most High. When the light hits you, you are designed to show promises. I don't teach what I feel like teaching. I teach promises, because promises are contextual facts. If the Most High promised it, once again, we got to end the same way, right? We got to end the same way we were talking not too long ago. It's 11 little things, baby. We got to take our leave on this. Hey, has the Most High ever failed? Has he ever lied? Has he ever said a promise and did not kept it? Has he ever created something so that it would fail? You hear what I'm saying? Has he ever not loved you? It's not his will that any would perish, but that all would have everlasting life. But there are many people that will perish because they don't want everlasting life. At least they won't do what it takes. Has he ever failed? If he's never failed, that's why you have faith, because his works keep showing up. Question is now, hey, don't just have faith and you're being a diamond. Work it. All you have to be is a diamond. I say this, and you're the Most High's wife. I say this to any wife that's ever listened to me, any wife that's ever done marital coaching with me, even one-on-one coaching with me, they will tell you this to be so. That I say this to them. Your responsibility as a wife is to be a wife. A wife don't have to worry about doing certain things. If she wants to do them, sure. But your responsibility is to be set apart and to be a wife. That's it. You be a wife. Now, obviously, there are things that come with it and stuff. But I'm just saying, your responsibility is to be a wife. You ain't got to be what everybody else says. Be a wife. Wives must be protected. They must be secure. Wives must feel a certain way. They must get affection. Wives must be your first responsibility. Before you have an assembly, before you have children, they are your first. Brothers up here talking about the best thing that ever happened to me was the day my children were born. And then, of course, I married my wife as well. No, you got the wrong thing in mind. Because guess what? Your children will move on and be married. You and your wife are supposed to stay together till death do you part. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Right? You got to have this thing in proper place. You have to have a proper mindset when it comes to this. You have to have a proper thought process when it comes to this. A wife only her main responsibility, I won't say only because she being a mother would have other responsibilities, right? But the wife, your responsibility is to be a wife. Israel, your responsibility is to be a wife. Be Israel. If you're going to be grafted in, be grafted in. But be what you're called to be. Stop trying to be what everybody else declares, decrees, or says, or demands, etc. I'm not here trying to be what everybody else tells me to be. I can only be what I'm called to be. So I thank you guys for being on today. I appreciate you. Can't really do our shout out. As you can hear, there's a bunch of music and stuff going on. Apparently there's some kind of soccer tournament or something going on. I had no clue was going to be over here. I thought I found a nice little peaceful corner. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I'll put the information up for you guys to be able to contact us. If you'd like to, you can reach out to us. And we thank you guys for being on with us today. We know that you could have been doing a great deal of many different things, but you decided to go ahead and spend some time with us. So I do not take it lightly that you would take some time out to be with us. And we appreciate you for being on. We once again give all praise and honor to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Mind, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, or website and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist. Biologist by degree. The tincture of the month is, please don't mess up, Kofi. The tincture of the month is ageless. Ageless. By the way, we legally cannot say that we heal the body, right? But what we will tell you is that we believe that the body has the ability to heal itself. And so the tinctures that she has, not just ageless, but many different things she has to help with many different things in the body, even if she has to customize something. And by the way, this is her business. We do things, everything via donation only. She does her stuff. It's her business. So please treat it as a business. Praise Yah. And the other businesses that we have at SOC connected as well. I won't be able to present them today because I can't really do the shout out the way we normally would. But yeah, so she does things. She does consultations. She can look at paperwork. She can look at different things as far as cultures you've gotten, different things as far as blood work, lab work, etc. If you need help with that, so feel free to go ahead and reach out to her. And we thank you guys for doing so in advance. I'm going to put up the information. If you're on YouTube, you already got this information in the description. But we have stuff. You can text us, email us. We have classes, things like that. Pretty much the classes are pretty much at the end of this week coming up. Classes will be halfway through. Actually, matter of fact, technically, starting tomorrow, classes are really officially yesterday, except for some recordings still coming out. All the classes are halfway through. So at this point, it would be extremely difficult for you to sign up for the classes and catch up if you want to wait for whenever it shows up at another semester. But you can always join us for those classes. Right now, the semester is filled with Sovereignty 1, Sovereignty 3, cryptocurrency, Hebrew characters, cultural leadership, marriage, herbalism 2, Black's Law Dictionary 1. But you can join us if you want. We do have the recordings. You can catch up on them. And if you feel, you can always ask questions. We can set up time for your questions. By the way, I know some of you, we didn't get a chance to get you set up for your DS11 stuff. So we'll have that done ASAP. I might even text you a little bit today. Today's my family day, so I probably won't be able to get back to you right away. But if you want to text us, email us about these things, let us know. And we'll get back to you ASAP. Thank you so much for being on. Hashtag Find Kofi, by the way. Hashtag FINDKOFI. You can literally Google that, put it in TikTok, put it in YouTube, put it in Instagram, IG, put it in whatever, and you should be able to find us there. But also when you look up hashtag Find Kofi as well, that's also our YouTube channel. So if you're looking for our YouTube channel for recordings, even things as far as haven't been led as we believe, it tells you what we believe in, or we have Q&A sessions on there. Right now, we've even been doing questions with Kofi. That's a thing on there. We have stuff on Genesis, on Revelation, on all these different things, on marriage. I don't know if we've done a marriage one. We did one on Roman Road, but we do talk a lot about marriage. So if you want to find out more information about things we're doing all over the place, let us know. Once again, you can see on TikTok, they've been trying to do us a little dirty and stuff. So, we got Kofi_40. That's this page, Kofi_42, Kofi_43, Kofi_44. So you can look for different places that we're at to be able to find us there and get more information, look for videos, things like that, and go through those videos, see if what we're talking about are things that align with your values, your views. We have people that you can reach out to, people you can meet, people that can check on you. We have businesses. We support businesses. We're trying to help people to develop, and we want people to be ready for the things that the Bible's been telling us about for quite some time. So thank you all for being on, and we really do appreciate you. I apologize for not being able to do the shout out the way that I really wanted to, but thank you guys again. We appreciate you. For more information, you can go to any of the information that you see in the description, or even what you see on the screen. And feel free to look us up. If you look on Kofi_42 or on Kofi_43, if you look on those pages, you'll see our link tree there, and you can click on the link tree for more information there as well. All right. But I will see you guys on this channel on TikTok tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time. I'll see you on YouTube as well, Facebook, podcast as well. The podcast from yesterday is on YouTube, the recording. It's also on for Patreon members. It's there as well. We thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Thank you, everybody who came out to Shabbat school yesterday. Excellent time, excellent work by my wife. And, we appreciated the babies being on there, babies of all ages. If you're coming on there, I believe my wife wants to make sure that if you're coming on there, that if you're coming to Shabbat school, at least, maybe down the road, we'll do something for adults as well as far as the Shabbat school. We kind of do Shabbat school for adults every day doing that. So I don't know if we necessarily need it. But if you're coming to Shabbat school, we're asking that every adult be accompanied by a child. We really want to make sure our children are getting something. If you got grandchildren, whatever, if you want to invite somebody from your family, niece, nephew, we had a great time, and the children responded very well and were very interested. And a lot of even questions that some of the adults had for me later on based off of what their children had. That was great as well. So we're trying to create this community. And as we travel, as we come together, we love it when the children come together as well. So it's great. So we would love for your child to come and join us for that. If you want that to be part of what you do and you want to make that part of your part of what you're going through, feel free. And we thank you guys. I think we'll be recording these as well. So if you missed them, start looking at the Google Calendar invites, and you'll be able to see the recordings there. So when you see the next Shabbat school coming up, just look at the Google Calendar invite. You'll be able to see it right there and be able to learn and grow. We want to make sure that the children feel comfortable and confident and consistent, and they learn some things and grow from some things that we didn't have a chance to have. So they're getting to see things, learn from things, ask questions in ways that we wouldn't have had, and learn the name of Yah, learn what they're supposed to be, all these different things. So we're excited about that, parents. Kudos to you, so to speak. Thank you so much for those of you who brought your children in and all those great things. So we're so thankful. We appreciate you. We honor you guys. And we look forward to talking to you soon. So thank you again. Thank you to the moderators. Once again, I bow down. I'm done messing around with it. Thank you for protecting this environment. We appreciate you so very much. That's all I have for today. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, this has been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember, as always, just know that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Shalom. And we'll see you guys later on. Appreciate you. Peace.